had a boat, I'd go out on the ocean. And if I had a pony, I'd ride him on my boat. And we could all together go out on the ocean. Set me upon my pony on my boat. And if I were Roy Rogers, I'd sure enough be single. I couldn't bring myself to marrying old Dale. It'd just be me and Trigger, go riding through the movies. Then we buy a boat and on the sea we sail. And if I had a boat, I'd go out on the ocean. And if I had a pony, I'd ride him on my boat. And we could all together go out on the ocean. Set me upon my pony on my boat. The mystery masked man was smart. He got himself a Tonto, 'cause Tonto did the dirty work for free. But Tonto, he was smarter. One day said Kimosabe, kiss my ass, I bought a boat, I'm going out to sea. And if I had a boat, I'd go out on the ocean. And if I had a pony, I'd ride him on my boat. And we could all together go out on the ocean. Set me upon my pony on my boat. If I were like lightning, I wouldn't need no sneakers. I come and go wherever I would please. And I'd scare him by the shade tree, and I'd scare him by the light pole. But I would not scare my pony on my boat out on the sea. And if I had a boat, I'd go out on the ocean. And if I had a pony, I'd ride him on my boat. And we could all together go out on the ocean. Set me upon my pony on my boat. Set me upon my pony on my boat.
I think that song is about change. There's too much echo. Is that better? I think that song is about change, and yet also it's about having somebody in your life all the time, because the pony, I mean, I think it's a really deep song. I think that she's talking about, it's actually by Lyle Lovett. He did it, but I happen to like that version. I think it's about somebody, wanting somebody in your life to always be there, the pony. I mean, because she wants to go out on a boat, right? It's like, it's kind of hard to put into words. But she says, if I had a boat, I would go out on the ocean. So in that sentence, in those two sentences alone, she's saying, if I had a boat, I'd get the fuck out of here and be by myself. If I had a pony, I would ride him on the boat, and we could all together go out on the ocean, me upon my pony on my boat. And I don't, you have to wonder, what does the pony represent in that song? I think the pony represents somebody that's always with you. Maybe it's imaginary. And then it goes on to say, if I were Roy Rogers, I would sure enough be single. I could not bring myself to marry old Dale. It would just be me and Trigger, and we would go riding through the movies. Then we'd buy a boat, and on the sea we'd sail. So there you go again. This person is obviously wanting to be alone for some reason. Now then it goes on to say, now the mystery masked man was smart. He got himself a Tonto, because Tonto did the dirty work for free. But Tonto, he was smarter, and one day said, Kimosabi, kiss my ass. I bought a boat, and I am going out to sea. So there again, this person feels tied down to, having servitude to up and away. It's the Lone Ranger. The Lone Ranger. They're comparing themselves to Tonto in servitude. I really think that this is a deeper song than you think. I think it has a lot to do with wanting to be alone. And if I were like lightning, I would not need no sneakers. I'd come and go whenever I would please. I would scare them by the shade tree, and I would scare them by the light pole, but I would not scare my pony on the boat out to sea. When I first heard this song, I thought, man, that song is really deep. The meaning is like way over my head. But the more I hear it, the more I really think that it's just somebody in their life feeling very, very not alone. Maybe they're always around people. They're always around noise, which will drive you crazy. And I think it's just really, really nice to be able to, to be able to close your eyes and imagine that you're out on the ocean. That would really be scary. The only time I've ever really come close to even imagining what it would be like out on the ocean is in the movie Castaway, when he decides to leave the island. And I sit there and I think, he's out in the middle of the ocean. He has no idea where he's at. I mean, that's got to be really an odd. And this guy even spoke to Wilson. And he wasn't crazy. He wasn't crazy at all. I mean, I'm not real sure if I wouldn't make Wilson. Because I think it's a survival technique, a survival instinct inside all of us, that we need a community. We need somebody to talk to. We need a friend. We are not meant to live totally alone in solitude. You have to have somebody to talk to. Some people use their podcasts. Some people pray all the time. I just think it's good to get your feelings out. But I want you to listen to this song one more time. I'm going to play it one more time. Now that you know what she says, listen to it.
If I had a boat, I'd go out on the ocean. And if I had a pony, I'd ride him on my boat. And we could all together go out on the ocean. Set me upon my pony on my boat. And if I were Roy Rogers, I'd sure enough be single. I could couldn't bring myself to marrying old Dale. It'd just be me and Trigger, go riding through the movies. Then we buy a boat and on the sea we'd sail. And if I had a boat, I'd go out on the ocean. And if I had a pony, I'd ride him on my boat. And we could all together go out on the ocean, set me upon my pony on my boat. The mystery masked man was smart. He got himself a Tonto, 'cause Tonto did the dirty work for free. But Tonto, he was smarter. One day said Kimosabe, kiss my ass, I bought a boat, I'm going out to sea. And if I had a boat, I'd go out on the ocean. And if I had a pony, I'd ride him on my boat. And we could all together go out on the ocean, set me upon my pony on my boat. If I were like lightning, I wouldn't need no sneakers. I'd come and go wherever I would please. And I'd scare him by the shade tree, and I'd scare him by the light pole. But I would not scare my pony on my boat out on the sea. And if I had a boat, I'd go out on the ocean. And if I had a pony, I'd ride him on my boat. And we could all together go out on the ocean, set me upon my pony on my boat. Set me upon my pony on my boat.
Okay. I titled the show, Why Can't We Just Be Honest? Mr. Midnight Movie just went to bed for the night. He told everybody good night and he went to bed. What I mean by that is I got to thinking about something today. I saw a film, and I saw the end of it. It's called, well, I'll start off with telling you this first story. When I was at my mother's funeral, I was standing next to her casket, just standing there. I don't know what I was doing. And my aunt walked up. Some people say my aunt. My aunt walked up, my aunt. And she looked down and she looked over at me and she said, she was the most intelligent person I'd ever known in my life. And I said to her, why didn't you tell her that when she was alive? And she just kind of went and walked off. And I'll tell you why I think this is really horrible. So then again, I was watching the very end. I was trying to get my television to work out in the main room because it's acting really weird. But there was the end of the movie, The Devil Wears Prada. the story of the managing editor of Cosmopolitan magazine, and she was a horrible person. But anyway, she hires a second assistant. She has two assistants, much like it is in the judge's chambers. You have the first assistant and the second assistant. She hires a new second assistant, and it's about how it's just really tough to do. And they never act like they like her. The first assistant treats her like crap, and the boss treats everybody like crap. In the very ending scene, she has decided to quit. The story is surrounded by the second assistant. So the second assistant decides to quit. Her name is Andrea. Andrea decides to quit, and her phone is ringing, beep, 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 and it's the boss. She takes it and throws it into a pond and walks off, and it's very symbolic of screw you. The next scene you see, it goes. The closing scene is it goes up to her office, the office of the Ice Queen that supposedly runs Cosmopolitan. I think they call it something else in the movie. And you see the second assistant. You see the first assistant, a girl from England, and there's a new second assistant sitting there. And she looks over at her and she goes, "I hope you realize that you've got some awfully big shoes to fill." And she turns and walks back over to her desk. And I thought, why didn't you ever tell her that? Why is it that people spend their time here on earth feeling a certain way about somebody in your life out there, and you don't tell them until it's too late? And you don't realize what your honesty could do for that person. I had a boyfriend one time I met him on New Year's Eve, and we started dating. He wanted to date me. The next day, he wanted me to meet him at the gym on New Year's Day, and I was like, oh, get lost. I'm too tired. And we went together. We were never apart since after that. But he never, ever acted like he liked me. Never. He'd be like, I love you too. It was just like that. And then whenever I finally broke up with him, he just flipped out. He was stalking me. I was living with Annette, and one night Annette and I came walking in, and he was on our back patio. He had climbed up one story up to the second story where we lived, and he was on the back patio. And at this point, my clock went off. I was just like done. It's really weird when a woman shuts her heart off. It's just boom, it's shut off. There's no way to get back in. I hate that. Yeah, I know. It's really weird, but it's happened to me. Once it shuts off, you cannot. I was even praying, please let me like this guy again. This guy was the sole heir to Continental Trailways. Swear to God. The sole heir. His father was the only child to Grandnanny and Munna. Grandnanny and Munna owned Continental Trailways. They created Continental Trailways. They gave it, they created it. They had one child. It was a boy. He had one child, and that was who I was dating. He was the sole heir to Continental Trailways. And this was the kind of family that, really set on money. They had old money. And it was so cool. He was so wealthy. I was very young. Oh, my gosh. I was right out of high school. Actually, I was just right out of high school. And he moves me into this apartment with him, which was totally against my mom and dad's, desires. But they couldn't say anything. I was over the age. And his mother would come over like every day and pick up all of our laundry and clean up our apartment while we were gone. I had to work every day. And that was when I worked downtown at the courthouses and stuff like that before I left to go to Texas Tech. And every day she would bring it back. It was weird. It was like weird. But it was, I swear to God, I'm not lying. And then she had a key to the apartment, and then she would have, in the refrigerator, there would be gallons of milk. there would be like bananas that she had bought and loaves of bread and all kinds of stuff like that. My voice is really hurting. And it was nice. And then she worked at a place where they had uniforms. You're going, what? His father was an architect. He's still an architect. And his mother was a stay-at-home mom who got a part-time job just out of boredom when her children left. At a company that manufactured uniforms. And she would get me all of these shirts that were like really nice shirts. They were like, and I would wear to the office, I would wear just like a camp shirt, a pair of really nice Levi's tucked in with a belt on and some nice, boots or shoes or something. And my hair would be all fluffy. And that was what we wore. We were allowed to wear blue jeans at the courthouse at that time. And a lot of stories at the courthouse. I'll tell you what, never-ending stories at the courthouse, boy. Lots of crazy stories. We were sitting, I'll tell you one real quick. We were sitting in the courtroom, Jenny and I. Jenny was my first assistant. I became first assistant faster than anybody in the history of Dallas County. I was hired as a second assistant into Judge, what was his name? Anyway, I forgot his name. They called him the hang judge because he was so strict. Judge Allen. Well, anyway, after about 1 month, she decided to go to work at a law firm, and they promoted me to chief clerk. And it was the fastest anybody had been promoted. However, that's not the problem. That's not what I was going to tell you about. So we were sitting in the courtroom one day. We had recessed early. Courtroom was empty, and out in the courtroom, the judge had a microphone. Okay, and her and I both love to sing, as you both know. I love karaoke. We were out there one day singing on the microphone real loud, and the phone starts ringing in the office, and I said, "Fuck, it's the phone!" And I jumped down off the bench. She was sitting out there in the thing, and I was singing to her. Then she would sing to me, and I jumped down and go down the bench into the thing, and I go, "Hello," and this girl goes, "This is Carol over at Judge Baraka's court." "Yes." "We're in trial right now, and we can hear every word. And Judge Baraka says he loves your music." And I went, "Oh, my gosh. But could y'all please turn it down a little bit?" And I was so embarrassed. We were like, wah, wah. I mean, it was like there was a huge courtroom sitting over there with a jury and the bailiffs and and I was like, oh, my God. The scariest thing that ever happened to me in that court is the first week I worked there, we were in the middle of a capital murder trial. And it was the murder of some airline stewardesses. It was really weird and sad. The guy was really a mean-looking guy. He was like a Aryan Brotherhood-looking guy. He had a shaved head. And I kept getting buzzed because when the judge goes, that means you have to get out there to the bench really quick because he's in the middle of a long, boring trial and he wants to look at, bring me all the files on murder, bring me all the whatever. He buzzes me one time, and I had just taken a big bite of one of those square crackers that have peanut butter in the middle, and they're orange. And I was like, crunch, and I said, fudge. And I run out there, and I said, "Yes, Your Honor." And he makes me laugh. He goes, "What is in your mouth?" And I started laughing, and I blew crackers all over the judge, and he just cracks up laughing, and the whole courtroom cracks up laughing. Well, as I was walking out, I stopped at the coordinator's table just for a second for some reason, and I was right in front of this guy, this defendant. I mean, right in front of him. And I looked over, and he looked over at me, and he was just like staring at me, just like staring at me. And I told the judge about it. I said, "Can y'all please tell this guy to stop staring at me?" So they went to break. They put him in the holdover cell, and one of the DAs goes by there, and he says, "By the way, when the clerk is in the courtroom, please don't look at her. You're making her very uncomfortable." And he said something really, really mean, and the prosecutor said, "I'm going to see you fry." And he took a ballpoint pen and ripped the veins out of his arm sitting in the holdover cell. But he was fine. He didn't die. The only other really interesting story is I was working there one time, and the judge and I would always share cigarettes. The judge was never allowed to smoke, and he always said, "Don't ever tell my wife." And I'd be sitting out there going, so-and-so court. And then when he would go to recess, he would come off the bench, and he would walk straight over to my desk. He wouldn't even ask me, which he knew he didn't have to, and he would lean over and open up my middle drawer on my desk and get my cigarettes out, and he would light one. He comes out over the bench one day, and we had been taking pleas all morning. Open pleas, agreed pleas. And I had pled this one Mexican guy out to probation. And I have to say, raise your right hand, you solemnly swear, blah, 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 then you have to sign it. And the judge gets off the bench later. He comes over there and he says, "Where are the cigarettes at?" I said, "What do you mean? I don't know. Are they not in the drawer?" "No." I said, they were right there. And he never would allow me to leave my paper opener on the desk. My envelope opener, because or scissors or anything like that, because it could be a weapon. And you never know when these guys are going to freak out and start killing everybody. Well, he tells the bailiff to go back in the holdover cell and see if that Mexican had those cigarettes on him, and he did. And he called him back out into the court, and as a stipulation of his probation, gave him 30 days in jail for stealing my cigarettes. I thought that was pretty funny. And the only other story I have is the day we had this thing called the pneumatic tube. The pneumatic tube was this thing on the wall where you kind of like when you go to the bank and you make a deposit and you put the money in the thing in there and it goes whoosh and it flies over there to the bank teller. Well, we had one that went up and down to the jail, to the sheriff's office, and I had to fill out what was called releases or bench warrants, or I would send up warrants and they would type them on the computer and get them out there, or I would send up releases. Please release so-and-so. I pled one guy one day to 10 years TDC, 10 years of the Texas Department of Corrections, and I sent up a jail release, and they released him. He didn't say where. He's like, fuck. And he got out, and I got in a lot of trouble for that. Not a lot of trouble, but they found him. They had him bench warranted back over. And so that's that story. But no, it's just like... See, that came from talking about Craig. Yeah, Craig never would tell me how he felt. And I used to think, why didn't you do this before my lights switched off in my heart? Why didn't you do this? And some people just don't. And there's people out there that are listening right now. You don't do that. You hide your feelings. Why couldn't my aunt just say sometime, I think you are so intelligent. But instead, she helped make my mom's life miserable. She would do things with my grandmother and not include my mom, and it was really sad. My mom got her feelings hurt a lot. And I know that sounds kind of petty, but still, it was the truth. You know what I'm saying? It was really sad. I remember one time I was going into, I think I told y'all this recently, I was going into a bar. I saw a guy that was working off-duty jobs as a policeman, standing by the door in full battle gear. And I walked by, and I think I'd been drinking or something, and I said something kind of cute to him, like, "Hello." I used to say, "Oh, you're so cute in your uniform," or whatever. And he said, "Did you know," he said something to whoever we were with, I don't know if it was my brother or whatever. He said, "I had a crush on this girl all through school." And I was like, oh, why didn't you ever say something? Well, you always had a boyfriend. And I'm just like, I wonder how many people die not knowing how somebody felt about them. And I think that's really sad. And I think I think a lot of it is men. Men are like that. Men are afraid to show their emotions. They're afraid, I don't want to be, I don't want to be tainted a girly man or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And I think a lot of people are like that. I do. I don't care what you say. I do. I think that's the truth. I think a lot of people are like, I don't want to tell that person how I feel, because if I do, then they'll treat me like shit. Because a lot of people are like, well, if I tell her that I like her, then she'll. Can you hear that thunder? Then she'll treat me like shit. But that's not true. It's so not true. Let me be right back.
My eyes adored you. Oh, I never laid a hand on you. My eyes adored you. Like a million miles away from me, you couldn't see how I adored you. So close and yet so far. Carried your books from school, playing make-believe you're married to me. You were 5th grade, I was 6th when we came to be. Walking home every day over Barnacle Bridge and Bay, till we grew into me and you, who went our separate ways. My eyes adored you. Oh, I never laid a hand on you. My eyes adored you. Like a million miles away from me, you couldn't see how I adored you. So close and yet so far. Headed for city lights, climb the ladder up to fortune and fame. I worked my fingers to the bone, made myself a name. Funny, I seem to find that no matter how the years unwind, still I reminisce about the girl I miss and the love I left behind. My eyes adored you. Oh, I never laid a hand on you. My eyes adored you. Like a million miles away from me, you couldn't see how I adored you. So close and yet so far.
You're listening to The Debbie Daily Show. Now broadcasting live on Spreaker.com. Debbie Daily, changing the world, one caller at a time.
I will say, just listening to you and just before you came on, I said, Debbie, you are a queen of Blog Talk Radio for sure.
All hail the Queen. No, I was talking about men who don't. I want to show you one thing that I was looking at today. It was written by Maria Shriver. And she said that she was pleasantly surprised when her recent article in the Huffington Post about emotional honesty in relationships had received over 2,100 comments. Clearly, it pushed a lot of men's buttons, and some women seemed unclear about how this works in relationships. The common denominator for most of men's comments was fear. My goal is to allay that fear and encourage men to stretch beyond their relationship boundaries. Some men vigorously protest that emotional honesty with a woman is suicidal, and that one of two things would surely occur. Either the relationship would instantly become a friendship and love would be out the window, or the woman would not respect them who are emotionally honest. The truth is, there are few, if any, successful relationships in which emotional honesty does not play a significant role. The goal is for men to break through their existing relationship barriers and create a deeper dialogue. This pushes a lot of folks past their comfort zone, but that's how emotional growth is achieved. I like you, I feel good about us, I'll call you. After a first date is not emotionally honest if you don't mean it, and no one's feelings are spared when the truth is spared. If a woman who surprises her partner by informing him that she's met another guy and fell in love isn't being emotionally honest because she was looking and failed to be truthful about how she was feeling in her current relationship. She trashed his feelings rather than telling him that she wasn't satisfied with their relationship and she wanted to date other people. This happens so many times. people aren't honest in relationships, and so people seek out other things. That's what I did with Craig. That's the guy that's the sole heir to Continental Trailways, because he wasn't ringing my bell. I mean, everything was fine as far as sex and stuff like that, but he wasn't. I didn't feel loved. I didn't feel like he loved me, and he was so, hell bent on not telling his feelings that he lost me. I mean, I know that sounds kind of haughty. He lost me, but he did. And he seemed to be very hurt. It says, I'm going to repeat that. It says, a woman who surprises her partner by telling him she has met somebody else and she has fallen in love is not being emotionally honest. Because she was looking and she failed to be truthful about how she was feeling about her relationship. She trashed his feelings rather than telling him that she wasn't satisfied with their relationship and wanted to date. The purpose of men being emotionally honest is not just to satisfy women, but it's to live in integrity. A man who shares his emotional truth is simply being honest. But what does that look like to women? What is their perception of that man? There's an enormous difference between a man being emotional and a man being emotionally honest. Now, most women, if they're cut from the same cloth I'm cut from, they want a man that is, courageous, confident, skilled, brave. You want those qualities. But then you also want somebody. I have seen some perfect men in my days. I mean, perfect. They weren't mine, but I saw, like, for example, and I'm not saying this because of the way he looks, because frankly, I'm not even attracted to this person. But there is a guy by the name of Matthew McConaughey. Oh, Debbie, he's just an actor. I'm not talking about it when he's acting. I have this innate ability to kind of see people and know what they'd be like. I guarantee you that Matthew McConaughey is the kind of man that is very brave, is very manly, but yet, and will go out and play a round of golf and go to a tit bar with his friends and have some beer and can come home and, take the car apart and put it back together, but is also the kind of man that will go over across the street and steal a flower out of somebody's yard, bring it over there, and sit down and look at his wife or girlfriend or whatever, or boyfriend, whatever, and say, I want you to know how much I love you. That's all I want to tell you right now is I love you so much. And there's so many guys that can't do that. Oh my God. I mean, I've heard people say before, I told you I loved you 20 years ago, so you should know that I love you. And in fact, that is quite the way. I'm not reading. I haven't been reading for a long time. This is just me talking. In fact, according to Men Are From Mars and Women Are From Venus, who studied relationships for 30 years, what have you done for 30 years? If you think you're good at the Xbox games that you play, and you've only been doing those for like a year, I mean, you should see me in frickin' pool. I'm a known player. I defy anybody to come against me in an online pool game. I'm just like, pow, 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 next. Dink. Yes, next. And I play spades. I always go nillo, unless I have the ace of spades. If I don't have the ace of spades, I'm going nillo. And people are like, damn. So yeah, I'm cocky that way. But I can imagine 30 years this man's been studying nothing but relationships. Nothing but men and women. Nothing. Well, you know what I mean. He's talked to over 5,000 men and 5,000 women, and interviewed them. And he's got a pretty good spin on things. And he says that according to him, because I've got all of his books, practically one of them is like my Bible. He says that men, by nature, marry a woman or get into a relationship hoping that she does not change. And we get into a relationship hoping that they do change in a certain way. And I guess that's true for most women, but not for me. But y'all know me, I'm a little bit different than most women. I don't know. I mean, I am in a good way, maybe not a good way. I don't care. But what I find to be true with men and their feelings, it's been my personal experience, is they just hold them back. And I'm not saying that you should just flout, there's a fine line between acting like a freaking idiot and just like she said, there's a big difference between an emotional man and an emotionally honest man. You know what I mean? There's a big difference in it. I mean, I've talked about this before. When women say they want men to be more emotional, sometimes what they get is not emotional men. No, excuse me. When women, now I'm reading, by the way. When women said that they wanted men to be more emotional, sometimes what they got instead was emotional men, not emotionally honest men. And there is some confusion regarding the difference. While women respect a man who demonstrates the courage, confidence, skill, and willingness to articulate how they're feeling about them, women do not necessarily respect men who are just emotional. Oh my God, did you see that? I'm just like, oh my God, grow a pair, buddy. I just was raised around enough testosterone to know I'm just like, good grief. Why don't you go to a tit bar or something? A woman may not like hearing how her guy feels about their relationship, but she'll know his truth and she can work with that. A man who speaks from his heart is sharing his absolute truth and in such deserves respect. It does work both ways, though. I urge women to listen without judgment if they want to continue hearing their partner's truth. Okay, what brought this on is earlier when Heather and Philip were over here watching a TV show that we watch on Sunday nights. She says, hey, Philip, tell Mom what your mom said about the car. Well, I don't know what the mom said about the car. Philip, tell Mom what your mom said about your BMW. It's in the shop. So finally, Philip starts telling me the story. He says, well, I told Mom, I think I'm ready to take the BMW back. And she says, well, blah, 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 blah. Well, you said that you need to do this and do that. And he goes, Mom, you're really reneging on our deal because we had a deal that if I stayed sober for, a half of a year for 6 months straight, that you would let me get the car back. And I don't blame them for taking this car away because this guy was going to get himself killed. But I've known this kid since 2006. When he moved in with us, when they moved out, when they graduated from high school together, he and Heather, he moved in at our house. We had, tons of room. And I'm kind of like his second mom to a certain extent. And I just don't see this kid as a bad kid, Somebody that gets messed up on drugs is not a bad person. That's a good person messed up on drugs, okay? I don't judge people by drug use. I just don't. I mean, unless they're just a sloppy, horrible, stupid, unbelievable crack addict that's over there trying to raise children or whatever. I'm talking about just normal, just people. I don't say, oh, well, he smokes pot, so get out of my life. But anyway, let's keep going. And no, I'm just going to finish the story. So finally, Philip opens up and starts talking to me. Well, Heather chimes in, interrupts him, and says, but she had said so-and-so, and he goes, are you going to tell the story or am I? And she goes, Philip, don't be mean to me. And I said, I tried to intervene a little bit, and I said, Philip, just go ahead and you tell the story. I'd rather hear you tell it anyway. And she's like, Mom, Philip's mean to me. I said, Heather, go in Mommy's room and lay down. Because she had just needed some Advil, we'll say, okay? And I had just gone to get her some Advil. And I was like, Philip, listen to me. He's like, oh. I said, no, shh, no. Don't. I said, there comes a time in all men's life, 3 things must get done. Plant a tree, take a wife, and give the world a son. No, I'm joking. And I said, there comes a time when you need to grow up and overcome and women sometimes need to be treated like babies almost. Go to bed, go lay down, da-da-da-da. And that's not making you look like some kind of a pussy, as they call themselves. I said, if you want to, you're looking at somebody who has been in marriage. I've been married a long time, and I know a little bit about the goings on in the relationship. I think I qualify to know something about that. And I said, overlook it. Choose your battles wisely. Don't make a big damn deal over everything. So that got me to thinking about men who hold back on their feelings, and I just think that that's kind of weird. I don't think that you should wear your feelings on your sleeve. That's kind of weird. But let's keep looking at this article. I really like this. But what does it look like to women, and what is their perspective of that man? Their perception. There's an enormous difference between being emotional and being emotionally honest. When women respect a man, we already read that. A woman may not like hearing how her guy feels about her or their relationship, but she will know his truth and she can work with that. A man who speaks from his heart is sharing his absolute truth, and as such deserves respect. This can be tricky because no one likes bad news. I have been in a relationship. I might as well. Okay, everybody get your recorders on. Here goes Debbie being honest for a minute. All right, everybody get your recorders out. I'll wait. In my relationship with Vic, I have been kept in the dark about some things for a long time. A long time. And nothing pissed me off worse than some of the things I found out. I was like, what the fuck? And I just wondered why somebody couldn't be honest with me about something like that. You know what I'm saying? And it was more of a protection mode. He wanted me to be protected from bad news. He says she's had enough in one life. She's had enough bad news. Okay, but I'm a big girl, So there's different ways of not being honest. There's not being honest about how you feel and not being honest about what's going on. And being honest, I see what you just said. I urge women without judgment, if they want to continue hearing their partner's truth, verbalizing emotional honesty is in a second nature for most men, and most men deserve to be respected, not judged. I'm going to repeat that, boys. Are you ready? I urge women to listen without judgment if they want to continue hearing his truth. Women, shut the fuck up, you stupid bitches. I just want to go, shut up. Just shut the fuck, shut up. Let him talk. Let him do what he wants to do. Shut up. How a woman treats a man's emotional honesty matters. You're damn right it does. You never talk about bullshit on your phone to your girlfriend that your husband's just told you. Okay. All I said was I've been in the dark about some things. I didn't say what I'd been in the dark about. And people know me a lot on this webcast, on this podcast, and they know I never open up about my personal life. So I just wanted y'all to know that I know what it feels like to be left in the dark about some things. And however, I want y'all to listen to the rest of this. Excuse me. How a woman treats a man's emotional honesty matters. If it takes courage for men to be honest about their feelings, and for that alone, they should be respected for it. And it takes moving beyond your fears. And I'm serious. I used to think a long time ago when I was younger that the reason men didn't say, oh, I love you so much, is because they'd been hurt by some other girl before me. Somebody else had taken out, hi, here's my heart, love you, want you, bam, and then they just crush it. I used to think all the time, and I still kind of think this a little bit, a guy that's standoffish has been hurt. Because we know what they say with men, once bitten, twice shy. But I don't know. Life is short. And if you just spend your life, fuck it, I'm not going to get hurt anymore. Fuck them. well, you die a very lonely man, a very lonely person. Women respect a man who demonstrates courage. The dilemma for men is due in part to the ambivalent, where's Jewish producer? Ambivalent, I'm so bad at some of these words that start with A. What is it, computer?
Ambivalent.
Thank you. The dilemma for men is due in part to the
ambivalent
manner in which women sometimes treat men who express their authentic feelings. You can't have it both ways, women people. If they want to know how a man is feeling about them, a woman may not like hearing how a guy feels about her or their relationship, but she will know his truth. How did I get back to that again? This can be tricky because no one likes bad news. For most men deserve to be respected and not judged. You better respect them. We need to have a meeting one day with the girls and let me just yell at all of them. I see so much crap with the women. Oh my God. I see them making mistakes. I'm like, leave him the fuck alone. Leave him alone. Leave him alone and he'll come home wagging his tail behind him. I mean, I've said that 1,000 freaking times in my true life, in my real life, in my whatever. This is my real life too. I just am on a microphone. I mean, my real life's right here next to me, but I'm being real too right here. I'm not doing a character, you know. I thought about doing this character. I was going to see what y'all thought about that, but let me finish this. It's almost over. This can be tricky because people don't like bad news, particularly if he or she doesn't share the bearer of that bad news's sentiments. Still, I believe most people prefer to... let me read something to you that's very private. Very private. Very private. Do you remember a year ago when I had a group of people that I was hanging out with and they were following me everywhere? One of them's name was Jonathan. Remember Jonathan and Slayer 454 and all that? Jonathan came into my life like a whirlwind. He was married, had a wife that I... Jonathan became a dear, dear friend of mine. I mean, a dear friend of mine. And we kind of parted ways one time, but I want you to listen to what Jonathan said to me. I was listening to this and I was like, wow. Dear Debbie, take a listen to this. It was made with love. I wonder if this is still on Spreaker. Oh man, we're sorry, but this has been deleted. Okay, that's not a big deal. Let's go to the next. Oh, that was from Dexter. Debbie. No, that's not it. Debbie. Stop it. Okay, dear. Stop it. It's highlighting my page. Dear Debbie, for the 1,000th time, I don't hate you. I will always care about you. You say that no one speaks in your secret chat room right now. I don't see you posting in chat. Now let me go on to the better one. Jonathan, I think you hate me. I was acting like a freaking idiot. And he writes back, I'm trying to find it. I'm not in the sent column. I'm a little teapot, stored and stout. Where did that thing that I go? Oh, Ray. Where did the thing that I read go? Where did it go? Oh, it says, Dear Debbie, I thought you might like to hear this. It says, ever so often the universe, the great spirit, or the divine, whatever, reminds us that we are spiritual beings having a... No, that's not it. I really want y'all to hear this. It was beautiful. Where did it go? I'm going click. There's so many of them. Dear Debbie, we all have a gift inside of us. Discernment is the voice within and lets us know when we are dealing with someone that isn't good for us. Love you always, Jonathan. He sort of became my mentor, trying to get me through. When he first came to my show, he could not believe the attacks that I was under. He would see people like Guy and all those people in my chat room, and he just couldn't believe it. And he has this really good ability to see people how they really are. And I'm trying to find where he wrote me. It says he was passing me this on. It says, it's a long thing, but he says, "Love you, Debbie, read this." But what I was going to show you was a beautiful letter that he wrote me. I'm getting everything I wrote him. Where is what he wrote me? I can't find it now. I'm sorry. Let me go back to the beginning. I think I jumped in too quick. I think I came in 32. I'm all the way up to 50. All right, here it is. He answered me right here. He said, crap. Okay, dear Debbie, in response to your email, number 1, I noticed that the name changed from John and Debbie's chat room. Debbie, I told you already. I had a room called Hole in the Wall with some of my friends in it already. When I created Debbie Daily, super secret chat room, some less than desirable people were added in there. P. Dembski, Barco, Loud Radio, etc. When you started having trouble with some of them, I changed the name of my Hole in the Wall to John and Debbie's and put the lower level chatters in my group to protect you. That's the only reason I'm here, is to protect you. John and Debbie's was a mix of my group and yours. They didn't know you, and you didn't know them. It started getting too big and too confusing. So I took my original group and made it another one so that you could feel comfortable being in the chat room. As for your second remark, now you tell me that it's my chat room for family. See answer to number 1, he said. Number 3, you never say that you like my shows anymore. Debbie, again, I have told you, I am busting my ass from 6 a.m. all through the day. I may come online around 6 or 7 for a couple of hours. I don't sit and listen to a lot of shows. And if I'm listening to something and I don't like it, I won't say that I liked it. All you ever read is pouring out love for Andy or Steve. And if you could read any of my other chats with my 30 other friends, you would see the same thing. I always tell you that I love you. I don't need to explain how I deal with other people. Number 5, Jonathan, I think it's cruel to let somebody wonder what they've done wrong. Debbie, I'm not responsible how you react to things. That's your choice. Last one. If your wife Sarah is thinking that we're getting too close or whatever, assure her that I am nothing but a sister from another mister. Debbie, my wife is so far above pettiness and jealousy that I strive to be like her. I have told you these things already, and I am not going to repeat myself. By me saying that you are free, that means you are free to make your own choices, learn by your own lessons, be your own person. I have put no expectations on you. I have no rules for you. When you asked for advice, I gave you my experience. You have all the answers. You are free, and you need to do what you need to do. I am free to say I love you, and I want the best for you, and I always will. I am free to also say that I will not get pulled into drama. I will chat with you and be with you anytime you need me. I care about you. I always have. You can choose to accept these words or not, but I will not continue repeating them. Love, John. That is what we need to hear. That is really, really nice. I mean, he was so honest. I have to go to bed now. My ass is dragging during the spring and the summer from all of the work that we get. Don't assume that I hate you. Don't assume that I'm avoiding you. The only thing that's the one thing you do that pisses me off. I am your friend. That's never going to change. And I thought to myself, there you go. That is a man that is not afraid. Now, can you imagine another guy doing that? Can you imagine somebody else talking like that? Oh, he's such a fag. And I sent him an email. Dear Jonathan, I have been reading some of the horrible things that you are posting around Spreaker under sock accounts. I'm sorry that I found out you're a very mean and cruel person, but there's a part of me that refuses to believe it. Debbie. Dear Debbie, if you reply to this message, I will delete it without reading it. I am not a liar. I never have been, and you know this. Jonathan. Now that's some smooth way of talking. I mean, I've told y'all before, sometimes I need to just be bitch slapped. You know what I mean? I mean, serious. I got a letter one time from somebody. No, stay on topic. No, this is staying on topic. From the One Angry Jew. He really, really would seek my advice on raising children. I used to think that was so neat. I thought it really, really, really made me feel good to know that he sought out my advice on raising children. But anyway, other than that, that's really all I have to say, because I just think that I don't know how to put it. It would be like, just like the example I gave you. The example is perfect. The example is just like in the movie. I mean, in art imitates life. I mean, screw you if you don't think that. Art imitates life. In other words, they make the art about what's going on in real life. And when that girl said, "You've got some pretty big shoes to fill," it made me wonder, why didn't she ever tell her that? Hold on, somebody's talking to me on Skype. Hold on. Sorry, I was talking to somebody on Skype. It's Apocalypse bothering me. It's Dan Apocalypse. Oh boy, I wish I could show y'all something that I got. It's so amazing. Yes. Somebody finally sent me the truth on somebody. You're like, what? Well, there's somebody hiding the way they feel. I mean, and this goes both ways. If you don't like me, just say, hey, I don't like you. I do not like thee, William Tell, the reasons why. No, I do not like thee, William Fell, the reasons why. I cannot tell, but I know one thing very well. I do not like thee, William Fell. Some people you just don't like and you don't know why. That's fine. Go ahead. If you want to call in, the lines are open. Sometimes you just don't like somebody. We don't know why you don't like them. You just can't stand them. They just make your teeth itch. And you can't really put your finger on it. You just can't. So if you don't like somebody, be honest about it. Tell them, I don't like you. Don't be stupid about it and act like you hate. I mean, we could talk about that shit all night. Hold on. I don't. I'm kind of at a standstill here waiting on somebody to call in because I said they wanted to call in and add to the discussion here. So let me put on a song and then I'll be right back. Let me put on a song. I loaded up a new song. What song did I load up? I loaded up... What did I load up? Hold on, put a song on. Ugh, I hate that Spreaker thing. Stand by, I'm trying to load a song. This one. This is a nice heart. This is a nice song.
song? What song would I love?
I'm hearing my feedback. Please mute your radio before you call the show, novice. Hang on just 1 second. Here we have Christina Jar of Hearts. I'll be right back. This is a very sad song. But listen to what she says. Just hold on. I'll be right back.
No, I can't take one more step towards you, 'cause all that's waiting is regret. And don't you know I'm not your ghost anymore? You lost the love I loved the most. I learned to live half alive, and now you want me one more time. And who do you think you are, running around leaving scars, collecting a jar of hearts and tearing love apart? You're gonna catch a cold from the ice inside your soul, so don't come back for me. Who do you think you are? I hear you're asking all around if I am anywhere to be found, but I have grown too strong to ever fall back in your arms. And I learned to live half alive, and now you want me one more time. And who do you think you are, running around leaving scars, collecting your jar of hearts and tearing love apart? You're gonna catch a cold from the ice inside your soul, so don't come back for me. Who do you think you are? It took so long just to feel alright. Remember how to put back the light in my eyes. I wish I had missed the first time that we kissed, 'cause you broke all your promises, and now you're back. You don't get to get me back. And who do you think you are, running around leaving scars, collecting your jar of hearts and tearing love apart? You're gonna catch a cold from the ice inside your soul, so don't come back for me. Don't come back at all. And who do you think you are, running around leaving scars, collecting your jar of hearts, tearing love apart? You're gonna catch a cold from the ice inside your soul. Don't come back for me. Don't come back at all. Who do you think you are? Who do you think you are? Who do you think you are?
You're listening to The Debbie Daily Show. Now broadcasting live on Spreaker.com. Debbie Daily, changing the world, one caller at a time.
Call Debbie now, if you dare. I cut that part off. The fuck? Call Debbie now, if you dare. Welcome back to the broadcast, boys and girls. If you all haven't slit your wrists to Christina Perry's Jar of Hearts. A sad song, but a very interesting song. It has to go along with the topic that we're talking about. Who do you think you are? I have now with me somebody, I think it's Mr. Midnight Movie. Are you there, caller? No, just say, I-H Mom. I had myself on mute.
I did.
You did? Oh my God, you guys there's something wrong with all of you people. So we're talking about why can't we just be freaking honest? Mostly stupid guys, but go ahead. What's on your mind tonight, Lester?
Well,
What?
I was listening to what you had to say. I think a lot of guys get into this mode of if they ever open up, then all of a sudden they've just buried it all.
What a faggot!
Yeah, and I think a lot of women take that as the sign of a weak man. They say that they want a guy to be honest, and then I think if a guy really is open, and if he really...
No, you didn't listen to what the Queen Bee had to say. She said there's a difference between an emotional man and a man being emotional, being honest about his emotions.
I agree. I agree totally. But I think there's a lot of time that women don't know how to discern and figure the difference out.
What do you mean women don't know how to do that? What do you mean?
I'm just saying I'm a man, so I can only speak from a man's point of view. I'm not saying that men don't do that as well. I'm just saying that I can only speak from a man's point of view. I think the things that I've watched. I had a buddy of mine come to me one time, and he said, she wanted me to just bear it all, so I did, and now she has no respect for me. And
well, I think you're not getting it. I mean, you have to be honest about your feelings, and when you're honest about your feelings, that's not being an emo, whatever you want to call it. That's not being an emo. Let me show you the difference.
All right.
Take a listen to this. Just take a listen to this. Now, this comes from, it's very well put. It's very funny, but it's perfect.
Hey.
I'm back, my love.
Where'd you run off to, huh?
I went to make a garland of beach plums to place atop your glorious head like a crown. But then I caught sight of that sunset, and I don't know. Something stirred inside me, and I had to stop and weep.
It's beautiful.
It is. Here I go again.
Tissue?
No, I never wipe my tears away. I'm not ashamed of them. I wear them proudly. Like small, wet, salty badges of emotional truth.
Elliot, there's something that I think that we should talk about. We've been together for, about 3 weeks now?
3 magical weeks.
3 magical weeks, and I don't think that I've ever met a man who's been more in touch with his feelings.
I love you so very much.
I love you too.
Now, a little known tidbit that people don't get. Elizabeth Hurley said, Dudley, Peter. Those are her 2 ex-husbands in real life. Dudley Moore and Peter Selleck. She was married to both of them, and she is hot.
Yeah,
she is like, boy, that woman's hot. She goes, Dudley, Peter. That's a little side note that I figured out on my own. Here she is again.
Little devils. Come on, you naughty boys.
She has them on a leash.
Dudley, Peter! I'm sorry, they're such little devils. Come on, you naughty boys.
I'm sorry. Are you okay? Do you need comforting on any level?
No, I'm fine.
Have I done or said anything to make you feel less good about you?
No, I'm fine.
Would you like something to eat? I made a salad niçoise with... Oh, dolphin-safe tuna.
Jesus.
Wow.
Watch how she handles it. It's perfect.
What is it?
It's at sunset again. And I worry about the dolphins. I wrote a song about them. Would you like to hear it?
Now
Mayonnaise. Swimming by the sandy shore, dancing up among the waves. Dolphin, dolphin, I adore everything you are. You're so much more than a fish to me, my playful friend beneath the sea.
Did you see her look over at the director? Did you see her look over at the director and like, are you going to let this go? Watch her look at the director in this scene. Watch.
I have to stop.
Good. I mean,
Oh, well, she does right here.
You're so much more than a fish to
It's
me.
funny.
My playful friend beneath the sea. I have to stop.
Good. I mean, why?
Because I'm looking at you and I'm seeing all the beauty of the world shining at me through your eyes. Would you mind if I sketched you?
I didn't know you could draw.
I'm not an artist per se.
Okay, Elliot, there's something that I think I really have to say.
Yeah, no shit.
Elliot, that's amazing.
Compared to you, it's nothing.
But did you notice she was excited when he said, I love you? And she goes, I love you too, Elliot. And then whenever he presented her with that, he softened her. But watch what else. Watch what all the parts that she hates.
Compared to your smile and the blush of your cheek and the sound of your voice as it floats on the evening breeze, compared to you, that sunset's just... When is that darn thing gonna set?
Maybe we should go.
No, wait. There's so much that I want to say to you, but I can't find the words. I have an idea.
Here comes Lester and his friends down the beach.
How wonderful my fair one's face. Excuse me, fellas. Might I ask you to take the horseplay down to another part of the beach? No?
Oh.
You know, rather than get confrontational, why don't we all just sit down together, have some salad with dolphin-safe tuna, and see if we can't start a dialogue? You know, I had a feeling that you were gonna... Okay, guys, I'm afraid I'm going to have to ask you to respect the moment that my woman friend and I are sharing, because it's a special celebration of love and caring and a unique spiritual and emotional understanding. You want to get a beer?
Sure.
Allison, excuse me, but I thought that this was our time together.
It's just a beer. I'll be back in 2 seconds.
Actually, my place is like 40 minutes from here.
That's fine. Which way's your car?
It's a van.
Great.
Allison, I respect your uniqueness and your individuality.
Yeah.
And you're your own person. And if you want to go with our new friends here to get a drink, I won't stand in your way.
Hey, thanks, Al. I didn't know you'd understand.
No, wait! Don't go. Why can't I handle this kind of rejection? Why don't you want to stay here with me?
You want to know why, Elliot? Because you're just too sensitive. I'm about to go out of my mind here. It's been wonderful, and God knows I love you, but enough is enough. I just want to be with a man who'll ignore me and take me for granted and who's only pretending to be interested in who I am and what I think so he can get into my pants.
That would be me.
Oh, thank you.
Do you see what I'm talking about, though? Is that not the perfect example of an overly emotional guy?
Well, yeah. I mean, that's like... this guy like floats into the room, I'm sure.
Absolutely. He has 5 wishes with the devil, or he sells his soul to the devil. One of them is to be, he says at the very first, I want to be powerful, and I want Allison to love me, and I want to be married to her, and she turns him into a Colombian drug lord. It's really funny. And then she says, well, you weren't emotional enough. He goes, well, I want to be very emotional, and he becomes this guy. It's just really funny. It's a spin-off of an old movie. It's called Bedazzled. But
Well, I'll watch that.
I just put Brandon Fraser as an emotional man. It's really funny. And then he says, I want to be, I'll show you some of this. Watch this. He says, I want to be a badass, a real badass.
The Formula Los Angeles is going 135 to 85. Elliot Richards is totally dominated. If you're just tuning in, it's a shame because you missed one of the greatest performances in the history of sports.
Oh, absolutely, Jerry. Absolutely. People say basketball caught fire with the assembly of Michael Jordan. Yeah. But I tell you, after what we've seen here tonight, a lot of people are going to be saying, Michael who?
I tell you, right from the get-go, the fans took a look at Elliot Richards a couple of weeks ago. A couple fellas were like,
look at him. He's a real asshole.
Yeah, absolutely. He's a big fella and an imposing fella.
He's enormous. He's listed at 7'6" in the program, but I'd say he plays the game, like you said, 11 feet tall.
No, I don't think he's that big.
And then she comes back to him in the form of a reporter, and she puts the moves on him, and it's just really funny. But that is one funny goddamn movie. I have that on.
I'll watch it. But don't you think, though, that a lot of times, and either side of the fence, that people, once you open up, in my case, once a guy, I mean, this is the only view that I have. Once a guy opens up, then you've got nothing left. In other words, I don't even know how to describe that. That thunder is so fucking bad a minute ago.
Could you hear it over my microphone?
Yeah, but earlier, did you hear that one that just shook everything? Mm-hmm. Earlier, I dozed off, and I thought it was a fucking tornado when I woke up. Jesus Christ.
I haven't looked at the radar lately, but it looked like it was all south of us.
It is kind of all south of us, but there's some stuff in Ellis County that was pitching out grapefruit-sized hailstones.
Look at the hooks in this thing. Look at that hook right there. That's rotation. You can tell. If you ever look at a map, the way you see if there's going to be a tornado is the hook. That's rotation right there, caught in the minute that.
But do you see where the top of that deal is coming through? As you know, that looks like that's going to swing right by my house.
Yeah, because you are, let me see, you're like somewhere right here, right?
Yeah, right in there.
You're like...
I'm right there, up.
Here.
Right, I'm right in this area. Yeah, you're not far off.
Wait, let me go closer.
There you go.
And then it shows all, there it is. You're right here?
Yeah, so that looks like it's
Woo, it looks like it's coming right at you. Let's see where it's at 110. There's an echo right there. That could be huge for circulation. That's called an echo. And look at the hooks in this thing. Yeah. I mean, look at this. Look at that hook. That's pretty tough. That was just 10 minutes ago. Yeah, it looks like it's coming right at you. Wow.
And Bailey, my parrot has no conception of what it's like to be scared of anything. She's never been threatened by anything. She's never been frightened by anything. So when that came through and it just shook the whole house, it shook the windows. It shook the like you could hear the bottles in my refrigerator shaking. It was that bad. And she's just sitting over there talking and whatever.
She's so cute. It looks like there's more systems that are trying to build right here. But I don't know. Look at the rotation in that cloud. I've never seen that much rotation in a cloud. Look at that huge hook right there, that one gigantic hook. The whole sky is turning. That just means that the upper level and the lower level are going to bump into each other and start going around and around.
Correct.
That's all that is. That is all that shit is. But it looks like it's coming right for you.
Yes, it does.
I lost you again. Where are you? You are...
There you go. All right. Oh, it is.
Oh, man, it's fixing to kick your ass. I am... Where am I?
You're right.
How close do I go here? Let's see.
It's getting close to you a little bit. See? Look at that, down in that corner.
Uh-oh. Where's... There, right here. Go. I am... I'm right... I am right there.
Right in.
So
Right
it
in.
says tennis. That right there. That's my parking lot right there.
See,
And so looking at that, it is.
not far away. Oh my God! I didn't see all that shit up north.
That's what just went over here, and I'm in the eye of the storm right now. Right here, I'm sitting right here in the middle of it. See right here. It looks like it's going to get rough. Heather sent me a text message. Mommy, I'm going to go to bed. My phone's next to me. I'm going to depend on you if you stay up to let me know what's going on. So we're going through some pretty rough. They were saying that there was tornado activity on the ground.
That's right.
In such and such, that they were even seeing debris on the radar.
That's right. Over in Ferris, I think, in the Ferris over in Ellis County, which is just
17 minutes ago. From the National Weather Service has issued a tornado watch for a wide section of North Texas effective until 5 a.m. The watch does not include the DFW area. A previous tornado watch included Tarrant and Dallas counties, but that was effective until 11. Confirmed tornadoes have been spotted in Erath, Comanche County line, 11 miles southeast of Stephenville, in Glen Rose, in Cleburne State Park, and west of Rio Vista, roughly at 10 p.m., and then in Grandview.
it apparently fucked up that Cleburne State Park. I mean, they were already reporting lots of damage over there, and then some line winds in some of these storms are hitting upwards of 80 and 90 mile an hour straight winds.
Well, you see, when I was talking to you on the phone and I said the whole sky is lightening up.
Saw that because I was outside.
Yeah, those are pretty weird because I saw those one time when I was on my way to a casino. Wow. Look at this. From April 26th, look at that wall cloud that went over Glen Rose. That is circulation. The whole sky is spinning. That could turn into a deadly, deadly tornado. So there you go. That's what we. Oh wow! Look at that! Look at that!
Jeez!
Look at that! A supercell, son of a bitch! The whole sky is spinning around. That could turn into the tornado of the year. You know, on YouTube, we saw a tornado video. That there's this man sitting in his truck, people, and he's like, "Oh man, there's a tornado coming. I guess I better stay under this bridge. It's like really coming close." I mean, and the people in the chat room said this guy's whatever's between his legs held him on the ground. I mean, watch this guy.
Jesus Christ, look at that tornado.
Listen to him. Listen to him, watch.
Oh, that is scary. The truck is, oh my gosh.
Now, he's under a bridge, by the way.
Holy smokes. Oh no. Yeah. That is
Truck's bobbing up and down a little bit.
completely crazy.
My ears are popping.
The truck feels like it's about to lift up off the ground. Not lying. Oh my gosh. Woo!
Wait till you see what he sees out the back window.
I don't know. I'm not getting out to look. I'll look and see if there's any truck damage later. It actually bent the mirror backwards. Both mirrors backwards. Oh,
Yeah, one of the people down here says, not to worry, but his cojones is what held him down. I mean, when he looks out the back window, look.
I can't tell if it's coming back around or not. Crazy.
Guess I better go on home. The tornado's getting close. I mean, can you imagine? How would you have been reacting at that moment if you would have been videotaping?
I don't know, because I know this. Growing up in all of this tornado country, I know better than to get under a bridge during a tornado. You know, when you get under a bridge, that can actually ramp up the winds as it goes through there twice their normal speed. And when you see people huddled up under an overpass, That is the wrong fucking place to be.
I would have made a U-turn and been going this way.
Yes,
You can
sir.
outrun them. You can outrun them. If you're on an interstate in Texas that there's not a lot of people on, you can outrun. We outrun them all the time in Lubbock. All the time.
Well, absolutely. And you know, they tell you don't try to outrun a tornado.
Oh,
Fuck you. I'm telling you, I'm hauling ass if I see open road.
If my brother were on here tonight, he could tell me, he could verify that we sat many nights looking out the rear view mirror of looking out the back window of our Chrysler, watching a tornado in the distance in West Texas. That's just fact. My dad would always get out on Loop 289, and he was either the opposite direction that it was coming, and we would just drive until we got to go back home.
Well, and we outrun a lot of them because I grew up, as you know, in very far northeast Texas, and we outrun a lot of tornadoes.
Yeah, I like to go outside in the calm before the storms, and you can look up and you can actually see the dry line blowing on the upper level going from the east to the west, and then the lower going from the west to the east, and they're going like this. And when they bump into each other, that's when you get your spinning.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool stuff.
Absolutely.
But getting back, I want to finish this. It says, the games that men, it says, for emotional honesty to become the benchmark in a relationship, the first roadblock to crash through is fear. How a woman treats a man's emotional honesty matters. It takes courage for men to move beyond their fear and be emotionally honest. The games that men sometimes play in relationships are meant to keep women off balance. Men want to feel safe, and keeping their feelings to themselves can feel safer than sharing them and getting trashed for their effort. Women who insist that they want honesty and then bash a guy who shares his true feelings are just playing a woman's version of a relationship game.
I agree.
That was what you were talking about. No one wins when the truth gets beaten up. Men and women know that being emotionally honest can feel tenuous. So responding to it with appreciation and mutual respect creates a sense of safety for the person. Sitting quietly together and having an open and honest dialogue might cause some anxiety. Yet if both partners remain cool and open and resist acting defensively, they'll be on a path to a deepening intimacy. It's okay for a woman to express her feelings about a man's shared emotional honesty. That's her right, and since she's expressing her feelings, she's not being judgmental. If the conversation devolves into a volley between here's how I feel versus here's what I think about how you feel, it's game over. Emotional honesty is best met with emotional honesty. The walls in relationships can be broken down when both partners trust each other enough to speak their emotional truths.
There you go. That's it.
Where there is no trust, there is no love.
You know what? I totally agree with that. And I think a lot of people get trust. You see, the trust is the key. And if you can't trust somebody, then people get this misplaced idea of what love is, right?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Well, you know, okay, I don't trust her, but we're gonna work this out. Well, how are you gonna work it out? Or she doesn't trust me, but we're going to work it out. You're never going to work it out, because if she doesn't trust you, you might as well move on.
Absolutely. I could not agree with you more. And trusting somebody is not your problem. If somebody doesn't trust you, they've got problems, not you. They've got problems.
If a man's trying, I have a hard time opening up. You know, and it's not that I'm trying to play a game. It's just that I trust so very few people in life. And for whatever reason, I just have a hard time laying things out because I just don't trust what people will do with that.
What do you mean what people will do with that?
Well, I mean, you know, when you lay everything out on the table, if you just strip yourself down, strip your soul down, and you lay it all out there, you've given somebody an enormous power over you. You've trusted that they're going to take this information, everything that you feel, and they're going to understand that. And if they don't, you just fucked up.
I can understand if somebody goes, I love you, and they go, thank you.
Yes.
That would be
That's
my...
like ultimate kick in the nuts for a guy. You bet.
Yes, exactly. Oh, that's so sweet.
Mm-hmm.
Oops. You know, I mean...
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Do you think that okay, there's guys that play this emotional game. I don't feel like I play a game. I just have to weigh out the situation for a while before it's time to sit down and try to figure all of that stuff out. But do you think that women play just as many games with men as men play with women?
I think love is a game.
Yeah.
I've always said that. I've taught my daughter that. It's a game. I've told her before. She goes, God damn it, I fucked up with Philip, and now he's pissed off at me. I said, turn it on him.
What are you talking about?
Turn it on him. Turn it back around. Turn back. He's got control now. He's pissed off because you fucked up. She said something to his mother that she should not have said, and he got pissed off as fuck. I said,
so now you're telling her?
Turn it on him. Turn it on him. Yes. It's all a game. I mean, that's all it is. I'm not saying play games with somebody, like fuck with somebody's head. But I said, so you fucked up. Don't let him have that control over you. I said, just say, hey, I fucked up. If you don't want to, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have said that to your mom. Get over it. Don't let him.
I thought you meant like turn it on him and get him to start defending himself. I'm sorry.
No, hell no. No. I said, turn it around. Turn it around. I don't think that anybody in any relationship should have power over the other person. I do not think that is love. I think that love is the constant want for the betterment of that person in your life. And that, because the only true litmus test for love is the relationship between a mother and a child. That is unequated. I mean, that is unequated love. That's in the Bible. Whenever King Solomon had two women in there and they were arguing over one baby, and he said, cut the baby in half and give one half to her, and one woman said, no, don't, just give it to her. He said, give it to that woman, the one that spoke up, because that is the true love of a mother. I would never see Stephen chopped in two. I'd say, no, just give it to her. Just give Stephen to her.
Right.
And so King Solomon, being wise, he was the wisest man in the Bible, gave it to the other woman, the one that said, don't do that. And having said that, when I think of love for my children, I think, and I'm a very healthy mother as far as emotions go, and I'm a very down-to-earth, I'm a grounded person. I want for the best of those kids. I love when they say, hey, Mom, I got this on my report card, or hey, Mom, I got the school play, or the lead in the school play. That makes me just gleam, and that, to me, is the way it should be in a marriage or a relationship. You should want that person to shine. And when you don't, when you try to hunker them down and Peter Pumpkin Eater had a wife and couldn't keep her, so he put her in a pumpkin shell, and there he kept her very well. Okay? So if you're going to cage somebody in and try to strip them of friends and things that they do, that is not love. That is control. That is, you are getting involved in a seriously fucked up relationship with somebody that is seriously fucked up.
I agree.
And don't run away from that relationship, because
don't you think that there are, and I'm asking you about the women's side of this. So it's not like I'm just trying to pick on women. But don't you think there are a lot of women that get with men thinking they can change them?
Lester, I have more problems with women that I have come across in my life through the internet, through real life, that I want to hit them. I can't stand the games that they play with men. I've seen them play games with my brother. I've seen them play games with my son. I've seen them play games with Day, with Chris, Dave's little brother, who is the biggest athlete to come out of North Texas since whatever. That's Day, the guy that calls in sometimes. He has a little brother named Chris. He's like my baby, and I've seen him fuck with Chris's head. I've seen him do so many mind fucks with guys. I hate it. I cannot fucking stand it. And the worst thing that a girl does is she goes out, she's so goddamn insecure that she'll go out and secure a complete fucking relationship with somebody else, and then come home and say, guess what? Bye.
No, listen.
That's cheese lick bullshit. bullshit. That is so, and that's why I thank God Almighty every day that I was raised so much more by my father than I was my mother. I mean, because I look at things from a male's perspective in so many ways you wouldn't believe it.
Well, you know, I know several people like what you just talked about. There's a good friend of mine that was a banker here in the town that I'm in, and that's exactly what his wife did. She went out and got herself into a full-blown relationship, making sure that everything was solid before she came home and told Ben, hey, you know what? I'm done.
That's a cheese-lick way to do a guy. That's a bad way. And that's what gives women a bad reputation, is women like that. And they all do that. I mean, look at what I just wrote in our private chat room.
Gotcha.
Same thing.
Yep.
Same fucking thing. Goes out, secures practically a fiance. And this other schmuck's at home thinking he's going to retire with this woman, you know, even though she's practically wrecked his life. I mean, and she's fixing to drop the whammy on him. I think that is bullshit. I believe in saying, hey, look, this ain't working. I've got the itch to blah, 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 whatever, you know. I mean, I've never thought that women get, quote, unquote, horny for men. I've never seen a man walk by and say, boy, I'd like to fuck him. I'm just not that way. I just don't think women are just made... I just don't think women are made that way. But I think that when something is dreadfully missing in a relationship, be it a 25-year marriage or be it a 12-month relationship or something, I think if something is missing desperately and she has committed to him, you know, they've become an item by virtue of saying, okay, look, you know, is this a deal here? Am I your girlfriend? Are you my boyfriend? What are we doing here? Because if not, I've got some options hanging in the lurch here that I need to know what to do with, you know. And if they say, no, we're an item, you know, we're exclusive, then fine. If that exclusivity is not filling her cup of tea, then she needs to be honest and say, hey, look, this isn't working for whatever reason, and tell him why. Maybe he can change. I mean, but usually at that point, your mind's made up. I mean, with me at least anyway, in my experience. Excuse me. But I hate that. And
I get that, but I know that there are, just like what you talked about, going out and securing it, there are women like that. And you know, and it leaves these guys just crushed.
Believe it. And a man never gets away with cheating hardly, but a woman can do it anytime she feels like it and get away with it. They are smart.
And does.
And does. Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, I know of, you know, and that's, I've never wanted myself to get involved in any type of drama. I just can't stand it. I can't, you know, I'm talking about in a relationship. Because if a relationship's just filled with drama, you're so busy trying to crawl out of the drama, you don't have time to enjoy your life. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. And I mean, and I think that speaks volumes for me. If anything, all you fucking assholes out there that say, oh, Debbie's just busy, poor Vic. I mean, Lester and I have taken this offline a little bit, and we're talking like on our cell phones sometimes and acting stupid and stuff like that. Do I have a drama-filled life, Lester? Well, how come I haven't ran you off?
No, you haven't.
I don't tell my bullshit to people if I've got drama going on, because I handle it, I deal with it, and then that's the end of the story.
Right.
It's nobody's fucking business what's going on.
That, you know, and that's the way that we're supposed to do things. You know, I was raised that you don't put your shit out on the street. You don't go and start telling everything that we've all got problems in our life. Every one of us have different little issues that we deal with, and what may seem small to one person, it's really important to the guy that it's happening to or the gal that it's happening to. But we all have to deal with our stuff. We don't need to drag this baggage along and start slapping people upside the head.
And I can't imagine guys out there getting involved with women that come with so much freaking baggage. Are you kidding me? I mean, that's like going out with the Octomom or some shit like that. I mean, what? They
do, because, you know, I've said this on my show a million times. guys are weird. Guys are strange. Guys will fuck a pound of hamburger meat. And what I mean by that is for sex, guys will do just about anything.
It's pretty desperate. I just think it's hard to believe, but I guess you're right.
I think there's so many guys out there. There's guys out there that...
You saw that, huh?
Oh,
that's so funny. I don't know. That was something that Jonathan did, and it was just Angie takes the bath. It was a link Jonathan gave me in an email. But anyway, go ahead. Yeah, I know what you're saying, and I hate that. I hate when people, whatever you said, I'm just talking. What the fuck did you say? I forgot.
I'm just saying, though, that guys will get themselves into...
Aw, Stabby. Stabby goes, me ending my night here alone talking to myself is a good analogy of my day. Stabby. Stabby, stabby, stabby. Yes, I smoked some today, and I took one puff, and I got so high. It was crazy.
And I talked to her when that happened.
I was acting weird. Heather goes, Mom, are you okay? I swear to God, she said that. She goes, Mom, are you okay? Stabby.
At least you weren't like me and had to be rescued on your radio show.
As long as she never smokes it, she can always say, I got some pot. Debbie's going to take her pot and scrapbook with it.
That's funny.
What an asshole. Yeah, he's okay. Oh, betas for life. Oh, Mr. Midnight Movie wants to smoke with Debbie. Weird. He was with me earlier. He called me earlier. We were talking on the phone, on the Skype phone. He's cute, Mr. Midnight Movies. But this is a serious business. This is serious stuff here. The internet is serious business. No, I'm just saying it's serious. That, you know, if I were with a guy and we had been going out for weeks, having a good time, and I was just like, when do you know when you're in love with somebody, okay? I think you're in love with somebody when you can never get them off your fucking mind. It's like you're always thinking about them. No matter what you're doing, you're walking your dog, you're driving your car, you're doing your laundry, you're whatever, and you're thinking about that person. I think you're getting real close to being in love with that person because you cannot get them off your fucking mind. And I think it's at that time you need to say, hey, I love you. No, I'm joking. Nobody's going to do that. Nobody's going to do that. But I think that you need to kind of assess the relationship and see, I forgot I was screen sharing. You need to assess the relationship at that point and see kind of where you stand with the other person. You know, are they coming at you as hard as you're coming at them or whatever? Then you kind of just weigh it out and whatever. I mean, I think it's possible. I've often said today in today's society, we live in a world of the internet. We live in a world that's high tech, and something like 67% of all marriages today come from the internet. That's true. I'm going to show you that statistics.
Wow.
Begin on the internet. Yeah, Chris Nelson married his wife off the internet.
Imagine that.
Y'all be nice. Chris Nelson is not a bad guy. Y'all are too mean to him. He is not gay.
I think he's a guy that has poor judgment.
He's not a bad guy. He's really not. Do what?
I didn't say he was a bad guy. He's a guy with poor judgment, and he doesn't have the ability to control himself.
Here it says right here, the internet, cell phones, social media have become a key factor in American couples. 66% of adults who are married are in committed relationships since the year 2010 claim that they have met over the internet.
Wow, that's important.
74% of adult internet users on the report, and this is not a bullshit report, this is a pretty nice report, claim that the internet has impacted their marriage or their relationship in one way or the other.
Oh, I can certainly see that happening.
Yeah.
Not in a negative way. It could be negative, right?
Yeah, it doesn't say negative, but it just says it impacted it in one way or the other. I think that people sometimes, when they're involved in the internet as much as some people are, I think they outgrow their partner. Let's say their partner's not. They don't really hang out on the internet much, and there's a lot of people like that just don't do the internet for whatever reason. I think they tend to outgrow them. I think the internet is very educational in a lot of ways. I think I have learned more in the last 24 hours about Wyatt Earp than I never. Remember when Mr. Midnight Fluvies the other night said he was a pimp?
Yeah.
Was that Bailey?
That was Bailey. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. That really got to me, and I thought, how does he know that? So I did extensive research. I found a man on the internet, on YouTube, that did a documentary for the BBC about Wyatt Earp, and it went so far as to get copies of the testimony and interrogatories and what do you call it? My bosses would kill me. When you go to a deposition of the trial of Wyatt Earp and his brothers whenever they had killed those guys at the OK Corral.
Right.
Okay. A lot of people said that they were bullies, that the Earps were bullying these boys, they weren't armed and all this kind of stuff. And to listen to the actual transcript from the trial changed my mind. But there was a part in there when they went into Wyatt Earp's deep, deep history, okay? And they said that when after he lost his wife in the fire, he lost his wife to the plague or to whatever she had typhoid fever, I believe. And he freaked out and he went to Colorado, something like that. He actually became like a bouncer to most of the ladies in the saloons because they didn't have pimps, so to speak, but if there were guys that were unruly, Wyatt Earp would go and get them out of the room and throw them out the door, whatever. So in that aspect, yes, he was, I guess you could see him as a pimp, but I don't think he made money off of that, but that was as close as I got to finding that he was a pimp. But anyway.
Oh, speaking of pimps, I learned something today about one of my favorite famous people in the world, and it really kind of bothered me. I don't know why. I am such a huge fan of Manny Pacquiao, and I find that Manny Pacquiao has an interest in a whorehouse. In fact, he finances several whorehouses in the Philippines.
What is Bailey doing? She's going.
You're doing it.
She always wakes up about this time, but he invests in whorehouses. Manny Pacquiao, the Pac-Man.
Yeah. In fact, while we're talking, I'm going to look that up. I'm just blown away. You know, Manny is supposed to be such a religious guy. Pacquiao.
You're getting soft on me, aren't you?
What's that?
You're going to go with Mayweather.
No.
You are
I want him to whoop the dog shit out of Floyd Mayweather.
Pacquiao is going to wear Mayweather down. I don't think he's not going to knock him out, but he's going to wear him down to where he's like, fuck. I think it's going to end up going all rounds, and they're going to end up judging it by points. I don't think anybody's going to take anybody out, but we'll see.
Well, by the way, just so you'll know, there's a brothel in Nevada that's offering a $100,000 fight package. You can watch the fight and then have your fun.
Really? Well, for $100,000, you should have.
You should, yeah. I agree.
The whole house to yourself. I mean, that's a lot. There's one up there that's kind of hot. You know, I had a girlfriend one time. One of my very best friends. Her name was Christy. She was a call girl.
Really?
Absolutely, in Dallas. This wasn't.
Told me about this.
Wasn't too long ago. Yeah, she was an absolute. They had what they called lines, and they all had cell phones. And anytime I was with her, she would answer the phone, and she would go, "I'm 5'7", I weigh 130 pounds." You know, she would say, "You have to pay $250 to the service, and then I meet you somewhere, and I check your ID." And it was so smart the way they did it. You would make a date with a girl. Well, you paid the service $250 for this date, and you had to pay that through a credit card. And then she said, then the lady would say, okay, meet Debbie at the Four Seasons in room 567 at 8 o'clock tonight. When you walk up to the door, knock on the door, I take your ID, your driver's license, and I write it all down. And then anything that happens between you and I is between you and I.
Okay. There you go.
But that's how they did it. And
Wow.
this girl made serious fucking money. I'm talking mega money. She would, the 250 went to the service, and I think they had 17 lines going at all times, and that would go to the service, and then whatever else happened after that door closed and that lock went on that door was between her and him.
Well, there you go.
And she would do, she had her own little breakdown that she would do. She would spend the night with you for $1,000.
All right.
For $500, she would go out with you all dressed up and whatever. And the only thing that she wouldn't do was kissing. But the reason I thought about that is one time she went to this cat house.
Mm-hmm.
She said, Debbie, I need you to watch the kids, all this kind of stuff. She had 2 little girls. I said, okay, fine. She calls me the second night, and she goes, Debbie, pick me up at the airport in 2 hours. I picked her up at the airport. I had to take her to the emergency room because of what was between her legs. I mean,
you got to tell.
No, she was allergic to latex, obviously, or something like that. And she couldn't walk. It was that bad. It was that bad. She's taken to the hospital overnight. And it was that bad. I mean, she had basically been beeped, to death. She couldn't do it anymore. She was like, this is insane. I mean, it was like boom, 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 boom. Just one after another, just boom, boom, boom. She was gorgeous, as you could probably tell. I mean, she was a gorgeous girl. And she said she had all this cash in her bus. Did you make any money? She reaches down her bag and she goes, boom. It's like throws it out on my dresser. And I'm like, fuck, look at all of that. And she was crying. I mean, she says, Debbie, come pick me up at the airport. And she went out. She took a taxi out and went standby to Love Field, and I picked her up. And it was up in, I want to say Tennessee for a fact. That it was in Tennessee. It was a cat house that she heard from a girl. She didn't have a pimp either. She didn't work that way. There's a lot of them that don't work that way. But why are we talking about this? How did we get on this?
Oh, I'd said something about, I thought Manny Pacquiao.
No. I was talking about Wyatt Earp.
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
And then you brought up Pac. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that's right. I find it, you really like the stories of Wyatt Earp and those guys, don't you?
Well, I figured it out last night. I know why I am so drawn to Wyatt Earp.
Why?
Well, first of all, I read about him as a child. My grandfather, on my father's side, his father had his childhood best friend was there the day that the fight at the OK Corral went down. The reason I am so drawn to it is because Wyatt Earp and I believe we have kindred spirits. I mean, we fight the good fight. We wear the white hat, but I don't know how to put it. It's too hard to put into words. But
I know I think I've got an idea.
You know what I mean? I mean, we have good hearts, but it's so sad. Last night, this thing I watched, oh God, it broke my heart at the very end whenever he said that Wyatt Earp died never knowing if what his life stood for. It was so sad the way this gentleman put it when he was doing the documentary.
Did he die?
Oh, he just died of old age in 1929.
Wyatt Earp is this.
In the comfort of his own home with his wife. But I watched this. This intro is so cool.
He represents the avenging angel that we all want to believe in. 30 seconds of his life is the essence of that myth.
The gunfight at the OK Corral is one of the most famous moments in all of American history. The gunfight and the events that followed it define our idea of what the Wild West was.
On this day,
This guy has a badass opening.
Bullets were just kicking up all over the place.
The devastation down there already is just unbelievable.
Isn't that a badass opening? Have you ever? Look at that. Is that the neatest opening you've ever... Intro?
Like it.
And then they go into deep detail about Wyatt Earp. And I was even reading the documents right here when he showed them.
Within months, he was thrown in jail for stealing horses in Indian territory.
Those people are asleep.
But he didn't stick around to stand trial. He climbed out through the roof of his cell and headed to Peoria. Officer tracked down some thieves who had stolen a man's wagon.
Yeah, they have all these authentic things on here. It's amazing.
Return to Wichita, and the story is written up in.
The reason Wyatt Earp went up against the McLauries, and do you know much about?
I know a little bit about it.
Oh, okay. You wouldn't be interested in it though. Is because I found out last night for the first time they had a big secret between them, and Ike Clanton wanted Wyatt Earp knocked off because he knew that secret. Wyatt Earp became more or less a bounty hunter when he hit Dodge City. He would go out and get guys. He would go 500 miles sometimes to pick up some people that were wanted. He became a federal marshal, and a federal marshal will always take precedence over a county marshal or, a state marshal. And that's when the Earps pulled rank.
In the wildly popular National Police Gazette.
They basically pulled rank on those boys that day because they were going to go over and disarm them. They were illegally carrying weapons in city limits. And the sheriff Behan was a piece of shit in Cochise County, and he went over and told the Earps and Doc Holliday it happened, people, just exactly like they did it in fucking Tombstone. I mean, to the fucking word. When he says, "Don't worry about it, I've already disarmed them." Okay, that was the big line. Don't worry, I've already disarmed them. That right there is the breaking line of everything that happened at the OK Corral, which is one of the biggest things in American history. And because when he said, "I've already disarmed them," Wyatt put his gun up. Doc uncocked the shotgun that he had underneath. Because they actually said, "Give Doc the Wurlitzer. They'll be less nervy on the street if they don't see him with a gun." And they went over there, and Virgil said, "Throw up your arms. I'm here to disarm. Throw up your hands. I'm here to disarm you." Well, two of the boys, Billy Clanton and Tom McLaury, they kept their left hand down by their side when they threw up their arms, which told them that they had a gun. And then Wyatt did admit to firing first. He said he aimed at Billy Clanton, but he shot Tom McLaury because he's real smart about that stuff, because he knows that most men that shoot with pistols miss. They miss their targets.
Right.
I mean, it's really hard. If you think it's easy, go down to a gun range and try to hit somebody in the head, and you'll miss most of the time because the gun kicks. And you have to learn how to aim a certain way. I don't know how they do it, but they aim a certain way. They aim down or whatever. And he said that he shot first, and he knew it, that he had blown Tom McLaury. He said he shot him in the stomach. And it's pretty interesting to watch. I was really blown away by it, to be honest with you. But I think the reason I'm always drawn to this, I'm drawn to it like a moth to a flame, is that I see in Wyatt Earp so much of me. There is a misunderstood character that is sometimes taken as a badass, but that has a true heart of gold. And he did go on a killing spree after they murdered his brother, Morgan. They shot him in the back when he was bending over to hit a pool, He found out that Curly Bill ordered it, and all he wanted was Curly Bill, and he wanted the other guy, and he blew Curly Bill in half. He literally blew him in half. He had a double-barrel shotgun, and he hit him 10 feet out and blew him in half.
Wow.
Which is why Turkey Creek Johnson said, "Have you ever seen anything like that?" And Creek, he says, I've never even heard of anything like that.
Yeah.
And he said, well, if they were my brothers, I'd want revenge too. And Doc said, don't mistake, it's not the revenge, it's the reckoning. And I've often told people, if anybody ever hurt Jet.
Right.
And I mean hurt him bad, and you know what I'm talking about. I know in my heart of hearts that I would kill him.
Right.
I would kill them. I would kill them, and I would watch their hearts stop. And I'd spit on them and say, hurt somebody else now, motherfucker. Hurt another kid.
I hear you.
It just literally makes me shake when I think of something like that. Or when I see somebody hurting an animal. And see, that's the opening scene of Tombstone when Wyatt Earp's horses were getting disembarked from the train, and there was somebody slapping one of his horses in the face. He went over there and slapped them back. That really happened. This is in the history books, people. This isn't Hollywood.
Well, you know, of that whole group, because I've read quite a bit. I mean, I know, I'm certain I don't know as much as you know about them. But if I ever, of that whole crew, if I ever wanted somebody as my backup, it's
Doc Holliday.
That son of a bitch is the bravest motherfucker that ever walked the earth.
Well, he hasn't got any more bravery than you do. It's just that he knows how to mind fuck somebody.
Well, he does, man. But I'm telling you, that is the guy that will never run. He's the guy you want in your foxhole. He won't run out on you. Because, see, he didn't even have to be there. Except he had an allegiance.
Yeah. He said, Wyatt Earp is my friend, and Turkey Creek Johnson says, hell, I've got lots of friends, and Doc Holliday says, I don't.
Well, like I told you, I've got a show that I'm going to be putting together about my list of my 5 whole friends in life.
I believe it.
I mean that. I just think that, but this guy, this Doc Holliday, everything that I'd read about him, that son of a bitch, if he gives you if he is your friend or was your friend, he takes loyalty to a level that nobody else that I know of would ever do that.
You know, there were over 100 witnesses the night that Curly Bill and Johnny Ringo came walking into the Oriental that night for the first time. They came walking in because they knew the Earps were there. The Earps were dealing Pharaoh, and they knew that all of them were there. They knew Doc was there. They knew Big Nose Kate was there with Doc. They knew they were all there. And this actually happened exactly to the T, the way it's portrayed in this movie, when the meeting between Holiday.
That's the rumor.
You retired too?
Not me. I'm in my prime.
Yeah, you look it.
There's Ike Clanton right there.
You must be Ringo. Look, darling. Johnny Ringo. The deadly.
Can you imagine how scared the fucking Earps were standing there thinking, we're fixing to be ambushed with those cowboys all around them?
Since Wild Bill, they say.
Doc stepped in. Look at the cowboys. There.
Should I hate him?
There.
You don't even know him.
No, that's true, but I don't know. There's just something about him. Something around the house. I don't know. Reminds me of me. No, I'm sure of it. I hate him.
He's drunk.
In vino veritas.
There you go.
Creda Judaea sotella non ego.
Juventus stultorum magister.
In pace requiescat.
Come on, boys. We don't want any trouble in here, not in any language.
Now, they were speaking Latin, right?
Darling.
They're both
Evidently,
doctors.
Mr. Ringo's an educated man. Now I really hate him.
What's it, Johnny?
I hear he's real fast.
Oh, man, they didn't show that. Oh man, are you kidding me? That was the best part. Oh man, that's my favorite part. That's a great story. It's true. You can watch it. You can believe everything that's on there. It's just insane. It's insane. It's so cool. It's the best movie in the whole world. I've seen it so damn many times. It's crazy. I mean, I have seen it just nuts.
I've seen it 3 or 4 times.
I can't tell you how many times I've seen it. I mean, honestly, from first to beginning, it's just, this part is so fucking funny. See, Doc Holliday had a warrant out for his arrest in Texas for killing a judge, and he got pissed off when Wyatt goes, "Sheriff Behan, have you met Doc Holliday?" And he goes, "Fuck you, Wyatt."
Now all we gotta do is keep our eyes on that brass ring, fellas.
You're the one, Wyatt.
Why, Johnny Tyler!
Johnny Tyler really walked up on the Earps on 4th Street, just like it's played out in this show right here, and Doc Holliday said, "Johnny Tyler," because he was fixing to kill the Earps.
Madcap!
Doc? Where you going with that shotgun?
I didn't know you was back in town.
Well, well. How the hell are you?
Wyatt, I am rolling. Morgan?
Doc?
Virgil?
Virgil didn't like Doc.
Wyatt Earp? Going into business for ourselves, Doc.
That guy Roland, that's the guy we were talking about the other day, the Marlboro man.
I told you, yeah.
Didn't you always say that gambling's an honest trade?
No, I said poker's an honest trade. Only suckers buck the tiger. The odds are all on the house.
Depends on how you look at it. I mean, it's not like anybody's putting a gun to their head now, is it?
That's what I love about Wyatt. He can talk himself into anything. Oh, Johnny, I apologize. I forgot you were there. You may go now.
Just leave that shotgun.
Leave it. Thank you.
He said thank you.
Norton, wasn't it?
Looking right in the eyes of Wyatt fucking Earp, who they said was like, he was infallible. I mean, he never even got grazed by a bullet in all the shootouts he had holes in his hats, holes in his coats, never once took a bullet anywhere, and was in more gunfights than so many other people.
Sheriff Behan. Gentlemen. Sheriff. Have you met Doc Holliday?
Kiss on you, Wyatt.
He has a warrant out for his arrest.
Mr. Holliday.
Forgive me if
I don't shake hands. He was an asshole. I love it.
So, how's our little town suit you? Fine. Fine. You know, I was thinking, what this town could...
I love when Turkey Creek goes, "It was a fair fight. He crawfished a bet and called me a liar, so he shot him and killed him."
Really used as a racetrack. Really? That's not a bad idea. Send a signal we're grown up.
Way ahead of yourselves, aren't you, boys? This is just...
Watch.
Have you seen how everyone dresses? Awful Tony for a mining camp. No, sir, the die is cast. We are growing. Be as big as San Francisco in a few years and just as sophisticated. You son of a bitch! Easy, gents. It's a private affair.
Don't raise that arm.
I'll kill you!
Very cosmopolitan.
Very cosmopolitan.
I know him. It's Creek Johnson.
Wyatt?
Wyatt?
Because I'm going to have those pistols, boy. It was a fair fight. Watch what he said.
Hey, old friend.
What the hell's that all about, Creek?
They crawfished a bet and called me a liar.
Sheriff, may I present a pair of fellow sophisticates? Turkey Creek Jack Johnson, Texas Jack Vermillion. Watch your ear, Creek.
Yeah, but let me tell you, Sheriff Behan, in real life, he was more crooked than the politicians in Dallas, the commissioner's court. he was getting money under the table for all this kind of stuff. And that was when this country began to change. It went from, the Wild West, everything was fine, east of the Pecos, but west of the Pecos, it was still any man's game over there. And these lawmen would come in as federal marshals and try to establish law and order in these towns, and these cowboys didn't take to it really well. They were like, who the fuck are you to tell us what to do? They were in places that hadn't even joined the Union yet. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it's an amazing tale about what took place in Tombstone. Wyatt Earp was only there for 28 months, and the things that happened to him in that town changed so many lives that it's unbelievable. What happened the night of the shootout at the OK Corral? It was pretty wild.
Have you ever watched the show, the series called Hell on Wheels?
No, what is that?
It's
Hell on Wheels is what they used to call the towns in the Wild West.
Yeah, well, they this is about the advent of the railroad, and they were making it happen across the whole United States, and it's about the lawlessness and how everything took place. It's a series, and I don't remember where it's on, but you can pick it up on something. But I would tell you should watch that. You would really, really enjoy that.
They actually tried to overtake whenever the most amazing part about the story of the railroad is when it went through New Mexico. There was some vicious shit. There was some killings that were done to get that railroad through.
See, and they describe all of that, and how one of the contractors he had gotten into bed with the railroad, and there were other contractors, and they were trying to beat each other out with different. They had a certain leg of the railroad that they needed to complete, and by doing that, then they would get more. So they would go out and kill the other crews, and anyway, and it's about this one guy.
After the Civil War, Lester, when the industrial nation swept west, and they began, instead of having miners, they had mining companies. Right. And they were really, really taking over. There's the one that says watch. There's the one I watched. And they really took over a lot of people's...
You would like that, because this takes place right after the Civil War. And this one guy he was a former officer for the South. And he's working around a bunch of Yankees and stuff like that. And so... Anyway, it's really cool, because there's a lot of killing going on in that show, and then you just see how lawless it was.
I actually stopped part of this thing right here, and I was reading the documents in this. Right? No, that's the one I just watched, isn't it? The one I just turned on. There was another one I saw that had the actual documents from, I don't know where it is now. I've lost it on iHistory, I guess. I don't know where it is, but I was reading the actual documents and transcripts from the trials that they had and the depositions that they had, and you can actually read if you pause it, you can actually read what they had to say, and it was pretty wild.
Really?
Yeah, it's from the trial of Wyatt Earp. Trial of the Earps. It's pretty amazing stuff, but it changed the history of this whole nation.
There were, and I'm not saying Wyatt Earp was, but there were a lot of outlaws that became marshals. What they would do is they'd leave their crimes in another state, and then they would go and become a law enforcement guy. And there were a lot of those guys that were that way. And you never really knew what was what, because when you read about some guy and he was a marshal in wherever, I'll just say New Mexico, and, well, do you remember what was the movie Rooster Cogburn?
What is that?
It was that John Wayne movie, Rooster Cogburn, where he was a marshal.
No, I've never seen that. I never even heard of that. Rooster Cogburn, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, wait a minute, True Grit.
Oh, okay. No, Mr. in that movie knows all those. He's a huge John Wayne fan.
Well, but then they did a remake of that here just a couple of years ago, and this guy did a fantastic job. But anyway, and that's a fictionalized character, but he was talking about, he was a marshal, and this girl had hired him to go find her father's killers. And was asking him about where he come from and everything, and he said, well, he ended up there because he just really had no place to go because he was wanted in most of the other states for different things. And he said, on that cattle or that horse theft charge, that was nothing. I didn't do that. And those other guys in Arizona, they had to die because, they had done this or that. And so this guy was wanted everywhere, and he was a marshal. And so then I got to looking up some stuff, and it turns out that a lot of the marshals, the U.S. marshals, were wanted in plenty of states.
Well, because you had the right to deputize anybody.
Correct.
Whenever they went after the gang that murdered his brother, the Earps, he deputized Doc Holliday.
You bet.
Anybody that you would put a badge on, they were deputy.
That is correct. And see, and a lot of people would look at it because, see, these people today have grown up with background checks and this and that, and, oh, you can't do this if you've done this or that. That's not the way that this country was built. I mean, I'm not saying we don't need to do that to people, but I'm just saying that isn't the way the country was built. You had a lot of people that did a lot of good things, but maybe they had a real shady past.
When the Wells Fargo was held up and robbed, and some cowboys did it, and they shot and killed the driver and the shotgun, they blamed that on the Earps. There are so many little stories that go on that I never knew about that are amazing.
I had read something about that, and I wondered if that was really true.
Of course it's true. It's taken straight from the history books.
Wyatt, every venture seemed to bring home the same lesson. Tombstone's riches were beyond the reach of a rough-edged young man with no capital, skills, or connections.
And so then they're looking around, and all of a sudden they said, we need a shotgun rider on the stage, and it paid pretty good. So we couldn't turn that down. There he is, back to lawing.
That, Wyatt recalled, is the cursedness of a shotgun messenger's life, the loneliness of it. As he loaded the Wells Fargo strongbox underneath the driver's seat, he knew what passengers and drivers alike were thinking. Without him in his pestilential box, he said,
That's actually Wyatt Earp. That's actually Wyatt Earp standing there.
If I remember right, in that movie, isn't there actually a reference to that robbery?
These movies, they follow Wyatt Earp and Tombstone. Those two movies follow the life of Wyatt Earp and the Earps and all of them to an absolute T.
And there was, but if I remember right, in that movie, there was a reference.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. There was. Whenever the movie Wyatt Earp is not as glamorous, it follows it to the T, but Tombstone is just a little sexier.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
They didn't, they left out some things, but nothing in there was a lie.
It would be 90% safer, and they know it. When Wyatt was offered a job as one of Tombstone's deputy sheriffs in the summer of 1880, he was glad to leave the stage business behind.
There's no question that he was the most effective deputy in Tombstone. He could go out, ride 80 miles to bring a prisoner back, and he did on several occasions. And it was recognized by the people in Tombstone. They thought, okay, now we have someone here that we can rely on.
Wyatt soon began to realize that Tombstone's politics could be treacherous for a lawman. The area was deeply divided. On one side were the mostly Republican townfolk who worked the mines. On the other were the ardently Democratic ranchers who'd arrived before the Silver Strike and who were deeply suspicious of the newcomers. This ranching crowd,
which goes to show you that the Republicans are richer and the Democrats are the blue-collared people.
Correct.
That was the very beginning of it.
Ranged from legitimate operators to straight-up outlaws. Somewhere in between were the cowboys.
Cowboy in the 1870s and 1880s was a derisive term. It's a term used for a lawless element. The cowboys tended to make a living working for the various ranchers, getting day jobs whenever they could, and especially by going down to Mexico and stealing cattle and running them north of the border.
Now, the reason they didn't say a whole hell of a lot about them going down there and stealing cattle is because they didn't want a war between Pancho Villa and the fucking United States. I mean, and there was fixing to be a war if they didn't stop doing that. And so the federal marshals just overlooked it. They didn't say anything about it because they didn't want to get involved in it, is what they talk about.
Legal authorities in Arizona weren't terribly bothered by the fact that there were crimes going on in Mexico. And this willingness to look the other way allowed a lawlessness among the cowboys to go unchecked. That made being a police officer in Tombstone a much bigger challenge than being a police officer in Dodge City or Wichita.
Truth be told, Wyatt Earp had a lot in common with the cowboys. They looked like his past. But he saw his future in the class that was on the rise in Tombstone and throughout the West. He couldn't know it, but he'd enlisted in a much larger conflict.
The new Republican establishment that is attempting to settle the West wants law and order. And they want to be able to get statehood, and they want to be able to get investment from the East.
Isn't this the most interesting thing? See, this just melts my butter. I mean, I am so into the Old West. It's like, it's crazy. I don't know where people say I got it from my grandfather, Poppy, because he was just crazy with it. He had all these books and stuff, and I have some of his books, but I just fucking love it. I just think I think that it is a pinnacle part of American history that really laid the foundation of where we are today. I really do believe that. And I think it is where men were men, men were men. You know, I mean, it's just, I just do. I just think that it was a neat, I wouldn't want to live back there. There's no doubt that would be the most horrific way to live without air conditioning. Are you kidding? I think the Holiday Inn is roughing it.
Sister, I agree with you.
It is. I think the Holiday Inn is roughing it. I'm like, oh my God.
When you say that, it just makes me think of something, and I'll tell it real quick, and then you can get back to that.
What?
You talk about roughing it. When I came home from the war, I had vowed I would never, ever.
Hey, DJ Danny Phantom. Sorry, just wanted to interrupt you and say that. He said, holy shit, Mobster Boss Radio. Go ahead.
Hello. Oh, I know who that is. Yeah.
He's a neat guy. What a neat guy.
I'll just say, when I came home from the war, I had served 3 combat tours, and I had made a vow to myself I would never camp out again, and I would never ever go hunting again. So as soon as I got home, my friend said, "Well, we got to go deer hunting." I just kind of went along. As we're approaching the area, the last part of civilization before we got to our deer lease, I pulled off, and they said, you know, they pulled in, and they said, "Where are you going?" I said, "I'm going to stay right here in this hotel." And they said, "But we're going deer hunting." I said, "I'll meet you all there in the morning. I'm staying in this hotel where I've got air conditioning,
ice,
good food, and I've got everything I need, television, whatever, and I'll be out there at about 6:30 in the morning." And and then I went deer hunting. And
you just don't shoot a deer, right?
I wouldn't. I just would not shoot anymore. I was done.
I hate hunters. I'm sorry, guys, if you're a hunter.
I respect the fact that they want to hunt, but myself, I've been on the ultimate hunt, and so I don't ever want to do that again.
I like to go on the ultimate fucking hunt. No, I'm joking. Oh, yes. I think that marijuana brings out the real Debbie a little bit more than not being on marijuana. Because I have 2 blunts right here in my little... He put it in his cigarette. He took off the thing of his cigarette and put it... He's so sweet, Philip is. And man, that stuff is... Whew, it doesn't take much for me to really feel it.
You only took like 1 hit?
It was a pretty big hit. It made me cough and stuff. But the thing about it is it just sort of, it makes you to where you're doing something and you think, should I really be doing this right now? You know, you sort of really watch yourself more than you normally would. You know what I mean?
Oh, I believe it. You had to rescue me from my show, remember?
Yeah, you were really messing up a little bit there. You didn't know what to talk about. You were like, you called me and you said, call me on the show. I sound like a buffoon on there. It looks like The weather is. Are you still hearing thunder and anything over there?
Thunder, and I'm still seeing some lightning.
Let's see. At 2:15, 10 minutes ago.
Oh, see, I'm right at the edge of that green stuff there.
You should. You don't have any rain going on. Boy, you missed that bitch. Ooh, ouch. Yeah, I think it's. I think it might be. Well, I don't know what's. Oh man, look at all of this coming. What? Oh my God! It's all the way down to San Antonio. Look at that! Look at that heart right there. That perfect heart right by Charlotte. Look, that's hysterical looking.
You know. If you think about that, we're looking at it on a map, on a radar screen. But if you think about how far that is, just so people get an idea from where we're at, that's a 4.5 hour, or it's a 4-hour drive to San Antonio.
It goes from Austin up to Kansas. The line right there.
Jesus Christ.
Man. You know, I've often thought they should build a bridge to Cancun. I think they could do it. From the port down there at Port Aransas, down there around Brownsville, make a bridge right here to Cancun.
Jesus Christ.
No, I'm serious. There are bridges like that. Shut up. There are. They could do it. Shut up. If you go in Southwest Airlines and you take a little popcorn flight down to Brownsville and you jump over to Cancun, it is just like straight up and straight down.
Well, yeah, in fact, they're coming down. As soon as they level off, they're starting their descent.
Yep, that's true. And it is the most beautiful fucking, when you go through, when you see that water of Cancun. Have you ever been to Cancun?
Yes, several times.
I have too. I love Cancun. The water is just, it's crazy. It's cray. I think we're going to go in July. Heather wants to go in July this year. Well, that's a dangerous time to go, but still, I can't wait to go.
I think I told you that the last time
Zona Hotelas. Yes, I'm sorry.
I used to go to Padre a lot.
Right.
And I like it there, but in Corpus, I think I told you I leased a fishing boat. I leased the captain
and that
his
guy
boat.
That sings that country and western singer.
Yeah. John Anderson or John. See, I started.
Somebody.
Never mind.
Was it John Anderson?
I think it was him. He sings Seminole Winds or something.
Yeah, he didn't have very many popular songs. He only had a couple of popular ones.
Yeah, it was his dad, and the cool thing was he was down there visiting, and he worked as a deckhand on the boat when we were on it.
Oh no, he did this little tune right here, there, that I hated.
There's a little girl in our neighborhood. Her name is Charlotte Johnson, and she's really looking good.
I got some echo coming off of you. Echo.
You're coming off of me?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Is that what he looked like? Is that what he looked like? No?
Yeah, that was him.
Oh. Did you? Well, you never met him, did you? Or did you?
Mm-hmm. He worked as a deckhand that day.
Shut up.
Yeah, I didn't even realize who it was until we'd been out for an hour.
Are you serious?
Yeah, and then his dad come around and told me what the deal was, and I thought, Jesus Christ, I thought he looked familiar.
Here's the national anthem of Texas to sing us out of the show tonight. Right, Lester? I always feel like I've been on the air too long, you know? I guess I shouldn't listen to people go, Debbie does 5-hour shows. Well, fuck you, then don't listen. Sit on it and twirl.
Have to call me darling.
Okay, what is the last verse of the song that he wrote, Lester? That his friend.
Oh, wait a minute. His friend told, somebody said he wrote the perfect country.
No, that's not what I asked. I said, what is the last verse that he wrote?
The last verse that he wrote.
Well, I was drunk
the day
my
mom
mom got out of prison, and I went to pick her up in the rain. But before I could get to the station in my pickup truck, she got run over by a damn old train. That's the perfect country and western song, right?
Yeah.
He looks like a badass.
You never even call me by my name. You don't have to call me Waylon Jennings. And you don't have to call me Charlie Price. And you don't have to call me Merle Haggard anymore.
Lester, if you look like that, I would turn and run. Hey, I'm Lester. Fuck. I say, I'm Debbie's best friend. She doesn't want to meet you. You should see this guy we're looking at. He's got raven hair that's insane and tattoos all over his arms. He's a pretty wild looking person. That's David Allen Cole.
Even though you're on my fighting side.
Yeah, everybody, I want to remind you to listen to Mobster Boss Radio on iHeartRadio. Exclusivity on iHeartRadio. They don't even fuck with Spreaker anymore. They bypass Spreaker. Fuckers. Just go to iHeartRadio and put in fuckers and you'll get Mobster Boss Radio.
You don't have to call me darling.
I'm so bad. You don't have to call me darling.
Even call me by my name.
Like that chick said in The Devil Wears Prada, I'm not your baby.
I've heard my name a few times in your phone book. Hello. And I've seen it on signs where I play. But the only time I know I'll hear David Allen Cole is when Jesus has his final judgment day. So I'll hang around his long.
This guy says 6 months after I married my third wife, she stopped calling me by my name. Fuck.
Standing in the rain, but you don't have.
So what did we learn tonight? Be honest about your emotions, but don't be an emo like in the movie Bedazzled. I gave y'all an example of what not to do. But be honest about your feelings, or you're going to lose her. Okay, here we go.
Well, a friend of mine named Steve Goodman wrote that song. He told me it was the perfect country and western song. I wrote him back a letter and I told him it was not the perfect country and western song because he hadn't said anything at all about mama or trains.
Lester, I got to be honest, David's not looking too good.
But have you noticed that the guitars always have the stars and bars on them?
Yeah, they're rebels.
Yeah, well, they're not just rebels.
I mean, they are really white people, put it that way.
Yeah.
They're very white.
Or trucks. Or prison. Or getting drunk. Well, he sat down and wrote another verse to the song, and he sent it to me, and after reading it, I realized that my friend had written the perfect country and western song, and I felt obliged to include it on this album. The last verse goes like this here. Well, I was drunk the day my mom got out of prison, and I went to pick her up in the rain.
Man, I've been in bars before where they scream this. But before I get to the station in the big eye, everybody's all fucked up and drunk.
You know, I don't think anybody in Texas doesn't know that song.
It's like our alma mater. I mean, it's like our national anthem or something, you know?
It seems to be, because if you're ever in a club, it doesn't even have to be a country bar.
I was going to show you. Me and Annette used to sing this song sometimes when we were drunk. I used to tell her, this is the saddest fucking song I've ever heard in my life. We would get drunk and we would go, you, and we would harmonize. See, that's what Annette didn't tell you is we would hit the harmony on it, and I would harmonize with Annette. You take me for granted. I mean, it's like, you want to talk about crying in your beer shit. This song. Do what?
Can you harmonize with Merle?
Oh, fuck, that's my dad.
My legs,
of course I can.
my feet
What an insult. Fuck you.
have walked
It's my dad.
till they can't
We used to get stopped on the
hardly
street, Lester, and people would go, are you Merle Haggard? And I'd go, no, he's not fucking Merle Haggard. Get the fuck out of here. They'd ask him for autographs. That's my dad. I mean, that is my dad right there.
back is sore from bending over backwards to just lay the world at your door. And I'm trying hard to put a smile on a sad face, while deep down it's breaking my heart.
See, he's not being honest about his emotions.
And as sure as the sun shines, I'll be a lifetime not knowing if I've done my part.
Because you weren't honest.
'Cause you take me for granted.
Me and Annette would sing this together, and people would laugh.
And it's breaking my heart.
That boy's hurting.
And as sure
Why?
as the sun shines.
He wasn't honest about his feelings, see? There you go. He said, I'm acting all happy, but really I'm all pissed off down inside. There you go. There's proof positive. That's from your grandfather, Merle Haggard, everybody. And yes, he is your grandfather. Whether or not you believe it, he is. He's actually everybody's grandfather.
He's the grandfather of a whole generation.
He is the grandfather of an entire generation. Well, whoop-de-doo for you, Mr. Out-Talking Me. I have a feeling me and Lester could get into some pretty serious, poker tournaments, and I just would really say, you really think your shit don't stink, don't you? We get in some mean fights.
I do.
No. I haven't met too many men whose shit didn't stink in my day, I'll tell you that. Not too many men. What's this? You never called me by my name. He did that too?
Surely not.
That's the same one. He didn't do David Allan Coe, did he?
Well, it was all.
Oh, who was Doug Supernaut? Killed. Please die. Go away.
What was that?
It was this guy doing.
Keep from crying. Sometimes it seems so
useless to me. That's horrible. Please kill yourself, buddy. Are you kidding? Stop. That's bad. Bad.
Was bad.
It was really fucking bad. This is the way my dad looked when I was born. Look. There he is.
I hear people talking bad about the way we have to live here in this country.
My dad was a badass. I remember being a little bitty girl and this being real loud in our car.
Ought to be. And I don't mind them switching sides and standing up for things they believe in. But when they're running down our...
See his face right there? Look, I'll show you my dad, and then you'll think, God damn, he does look just like him. See his furrowed brow and his nose and this whole face. What did I do with that picture of dear old Dad? I don't remember where I put it. It's on here somewhere. I know I saw it the other day. What did I do with it? It's on here somewhere. Oh, man, I don't know where it is. It's on here somewhere. I kept it. I don't know what I did with it, but picture of my dad. I had it on Facebook. It's a pretty accurate photo of exactly what my dad looked like. He looked just like Merle Haggard.
Wow.
Yeah, I did. I think I talk about my dad too much. Do you think I talk about my dad too much? But it's just like he was such a major part of my fucking life. Bama Man. There's this guy on, well, never mind. I'm not going to talk about it on the air. This fucker on Spreaker that's really getting under my skin bad. I'm fixing to declare a fucking war against Whistling Jay. Let's close with... No, I'm going to upload that to my Spreaker thing so it'll sound better. I want you to be able to really hear this. I want y'all to hear. Whistling Jay. Hi, Stabbathan. Fuck off, Stabby. Fucker. Asshole. Let's see Davey's blazed as fuck. Shut up. I think I like weed. I think I'm going to go back to smoking weed all the time, Lester. It's marijuana. It's medical marijuana weed.
There you go. That's what I'm calling it.
My doctor says, doctor said he's coming, but you got to pay cash. Fuck off. Oh, what's it? The Boat movie. I'm going to load that up too. Boat movie. That's funny.
It is funny.
Boat movie. That's
See
funny.
the boat movie.
I want to see the boat movie. What a stupid thing. That was really stupid. You had some funny things. Lisa. She's at it again. You had some funny things you gave me on the hair the other day. I don't mind them switching sides and standing up for things that they believe in. But when you're running down our country, man, you're walking on the fighting side of me. You're walking on the fighting side of me. Shut up. Running down our way of life, our fighting men. Here we go. All right, everybody, we're going to hear. There's a very popular show here on Spreaker. And I have a couple of clips from it. Starting right now, everybody. Pay attention. I like to call this Whistling. I banned Debbie and still have never forgiven her. Jay.
You're talking about blood types, really? The things that they talk about. Wow.
They were in the chat room talking about Type O Negative. Type O Negative is a band. Okay, he goes, they're talking about Type O Negative, about blood types. It's fucking old.
Lester in the house. Guy Shay, I think I mentioned earlier. Bunny Apocalypse. Bunny, I can't. Is that a hare or a tiger? It's a tiger with bunny. I don't know what it is, but it's funny. Let's see. I can't believe they're talking about Type O Negative and blood types. Oh, God.
Hey, Grandpa. Type O Negative's a fucking band, you mullet. Are you kidding? I can't believe they're talking about blood types. Audrey. Audrey, shut up. I love Audrey. Type O Negative is a band. Are you? I can't believe they're talking about blood in the chat room. Look, this is Type O Negative. I know that. I mean, I'm assuming I wasn't there. I want to live with a cinnamon girl. This is the new band, though. This is Type O Negative. My cinnamon girl. Stage dive. And what gets me, okay, that's Type O Negative. What gets me is Jay goes, I can't believe they're in the chat room talking about blood. Type O Negative. What the fuck? Grandpa, do your research. Get off the air.
Simply amazing.
You're listening to The Debbie Daily Show. Now broadcasting live on Spreaker.com.
WBDR, Big D Country, welcome.
I want to see
It's
the boat
amazing
movie.
What goes on in this chat, ladies and gentlemen.
It's just amazing what goes on in this chat. You've got to get over here to the chat. Get to the chat, because that's all the show's about, okay? Just quit talking about me and running me down in chat rooms. I ran into him in a chat room the other night. I swear to God that I'm not lying. And he was talking shit about me, and I was in there on a sock account that said Barco is gay. So I wasn't even in there as Debbie Daly, right? I have a sock account called Mrs. Midnight Movie, and Barco is gay. And I was in there under that one, and he was in there going, yeah, just like Debbie. And I thought, you little bitch. I mean, you're still holding this fake grudge with me. Are you kidding me? And you whistle on your show. So there you go. I don't care. I love playing that. Thank you very much for giving me that. You know who you are.
He visits home on weekends.
Give me a break. What did you say?
I said he visits home on weekends.
Oh, yeah. He's the big Frank Sinatra guy, right?
No, he's in the rest home, I think.
That's life. That's life. I wrote this when I was 3. I mean, you know, I don't know. Now, he did do one song I thought was good, just like I thought one song Goofy Bone did was good. Have you ever heard the song that I love that Goofy Bone did? It's really not a bad song.
Yeah, you played it. It sounded okay.
Shut up. Don't be jealous. Don't be hate. Don't be a hater. You're a hater. You're a hater. You're a hater. You're being a fucking hater here. You gotta love drama. Drama's not bad. Drama is the best of the best.
It's all drama. Coming right back to me. Right back to me.
Drama
Coming right back to me. Right back to me.
comes in all shapes and sizes.
Coming right back to me.
But
Right
even
back
God's,
to me.
look at Joel P. Him, Daddy, Joel P.
I gotta see this. Hang on a minute.
Coming right back to me. Right back to me.
That's why I always got my Glock.
Coming right back to me. Right back to me.
Drama, it comes in all shapes and sizes. It even got itty bitty surprise.
Look how big Pim Danny and Joel P's outfit is.
The Glocks are loaded, so let's go. It's time to create a murder show. Jump suckers in the streets trying to disrespect. Call me Goofy Soprano, trying to put fools in check. What happened? Everyone was down for their crime. You wanna take that easy life and drop that dime. In the streets of San Jose, that don't work. If you don't got your paperwork, you're lying in dirt. I've seen it before, even my life's expendable. To the next man, you'll see the pressure lifetime cable. But are you able to sacrifice your life for the table? Underline that fact. If you're a coward, you're gonna get whacked. Pull up to his house while he's watering his lawn, then you attack.
Now that's drama. Coming right back to me. Right back to me. The world is drama. Coming right back to me. Right back to me. This bitch is drama. Coming right back to
It's
me.
got a
Right
good
back to
beat.
me.
I mean, it really does. It's got a good beat. I think his rhymes are good. I mean, I don't really care for the video, but I think it's a good beat, and he actually did it. I mean, he wrote the whole thing, and I think that he needs to be commended for that. I mean, I'm not a hater like you. I just hate. I don't hate.
I don't hate anybody.
I'm just fucking with you, Lester. No. I do. I like drama. It comes in all shapes and sizes. It even got little bitty surprises.
Okay.
It does. It does. It has little bitty surprises. It's all drama. I think it thrives on drama.
Right back to me.
Drama, now that's a very tight issue. It even got your mama.
Are those marijuana plants growing right there?
I don't know.
I think that looks illegal, Goofy.
Crying up a tissue. Stupid motherfucker should have known his role. And now he's sleeping in a cemetery hole. If he did the job right, he wouldn't be dead. I put that on the north, I put a bullet in his head. For now.
I think Goofy just admitted to a murder.
There you go.
This could be used as evidence. No, I'm being serious. I've always thought that was a good song that he did, but you can see what I've been looking at. Look, 1986 Mike Tyson, Alfonso Ratliff.
Oh my God.
I know, there's some great fights on YouTube.
I know.
Great fucking fights. But, so I guess thank you, Lester, for calling in tonight and wrecking my show. No, thank you for calling in and being on the show.
Sure.
I always love to hear from Mobster Boss Radio over on iHeartRadio.
Thank you.
And yeah, so we're going to let Jay Sands take us out with the rest of his wonderful show. In case you missed it live, you can catch him here on Spreaker.com. And anything else you want to say, Lester?
I'm all good.
You can say that again.
You really got, if you're not in there, you should come on in. If you're listening, you haven't been in the chat, come on down and take a listen. Just jump in. And
I want to see the boat
it's
movie.
Amazing. Really,
I want to see the boat movie.
It's just
I
amazing.
want to see the boat movie.
That's right, Christmas is coming. You know, it's only 5 weeks away, guys. Get that shopping done. Get it done early. Don't wait till the last minute like I do every year. Get it done early. Get out there.
If I had a boat, I'd go out on the ocean. And if I had a pony, I'd ride him on my boat. And we could all together go out on the ocean, set me upon my pony on my boat.
I want to see the boat movie.
If I were Roy Rogers, I'd sure enough be single. I couldn't bring myself to marrying old Dale. It'd just be me and Trigger, go riding through the movies. Then we buy a boat and on the sea we'd sail. And if I had a boat, I'd go out on the ocean. And if I had a pony, I'd ride him on my boat. And we could all together go out on the ocean, set me upon my pony on my boat. The mystery masked man was smart. He got himself a Tonto, 'cause Tonto did